Hello, and welcome to Hello Sister, a Vampire Diaries podcast with a magical twist.
We're your hosts, Christina Rosso-Schneider
and Brenna Dinon. Christina, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. Last episode, I was talking about how my semester was over and I was almost done grading, and grades are officially submitted.
Yay.
So now one of two book edits is officially submitted.
Incredible.
So working through things on my list, and soon I get to start planning the horror lit class that I'm teaching in the fall, which I will definitely be sharing a reading list for all of our listeners and viewers.
I need the reading list, please.
So some exciting stuff and some good things off of my plate. How are you?
Awesome. Well, I'm jazzed because we're recording on like a day where we both are not like in our respective other day jobs that we do. So it's fun to do some daytime recording. Oftentimes we do record in the evenings just because we have busy lives and busy schedules. So I'm just like excited to spend the day with you. And I personally also, and similarly to some writing related stuff, I've been just dusting off some old pieces and have been having a lot of joy with that, and just trying to catch up on some reading. So I'm just here and ready for, honestly, getting ready for summer. I'm excited for summer. So
it's arriving soon. I mean, we've got over a month, but it feels, once we hit Gemini season, which we talked about last episode, like I'm here. Yeah,
we're like pretty much like by the time this episode drops, it's like kind of in the summer zone-ish, but not quite yet until around your birthday.
Yes.
All right. So we don't have a ton of housekeeping to go through, but as always, just want to just shout out ways that you can support us, since we don't have like a Patreon or any sort of set up in that way. But so Christina, would you like to let the people know like how else they could support us though?
Yeah. So the biggest thing is sharing the podcast with friends, family, sharing with the internet, leaving a review, subscribing on YouTube, following us on Instagram and Threads. Word of mouth is huge. Yeah. So this is still a baby podcast, and we really appreciate just any ways that you can let people know about us, and also help us compete with the algorithm.
Yeah. We're small but mighty. I mean, every day we get to, when we're looking at our analytics, we're just like ever so slightly climbing the ranks. So thank you for all the people that are tuning in and keep doing what you're doing and sharing the good word. So other places that did you mention tarot readings? Did we mention that?
So you could also support us by booking tarot readings in person, virtually, together, just one of us. You can support my bookstore, Novel Idea, or you can buy my books.
Yes, all of those things, please do. It's so fun and it would be fun to like get to read for people. My personal website is under construction at the moment, but I'm working to get that up and running for potential bookings. But other than those little ways to support us, if you want to follow along in our social media endeavors, we are on Instagram and Threads at Hello Sister Podcast, and we can also be emailed at hellosisterpodcast1864@gmail.com. So I think that about wraps up our top of the show information. So let's get into episode 14.
All right, let's get into episode 14 called Fool Me Once. This episode was directed by Marco Siega and written by Brett Conrad, a new name, and our favorite Brian Young. This episode aired on February 11th, 2010. So another little break.
Yeah, that's interesting that they must have had some.
I caught this more so not necessarily like tracking it episode to episode, but I had some timeline questions.
Yeah.
Which we'll talk about. And so with some timeline questions, I found just like a wiki page for the Vampire Diaries that breaks down the timeline across all of the seasons and franchises. So it has like original stuff, etc. in it. And it mentions when there's a break in when episodes were released. And so I was like, it's interesting that it was like, I guess like another like small little break that they did. Yeah.
Huh.
But we are in February 2010.
Man, you know what I'm happy about? That we're not currently in February because I'm enjoying the weather being warm, though it is a little rainy on our day of recording today.
Yeah. As always, we love to share the IMDb synopsis. So here we go. Jeremy asks Anna, played by Malsey Dow.
I think it's Melise. I think so. I don't.
Melise. Okay.
I think.
To a party in the woods. Stefan, Damon, and Elena work with Bonnie and Grams, played by Jasmine Guy, to open the tomb and are shocked by what they discover. I mean, correct.
I'm fine. It's interesting that like, why are we citing? Well, I mean, I guess because like Anna and Grams like aren't regular, so we're calling out their actor names in the synopsis. But I feel like Grams was already introduced like that before in the synopsis, and she is a semi-regular-ish, a recurring character, if you will. And at this point, so was Anna. So I don't know.
Yeah, but maybe because this is a pivotal episode for her.
Yeah, no,
perhaps
that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Well, without further ado, our opening scene, the morning after. We are in Mystic Falls in a motel room, the motel room, if you will, from the previous episode. So we open to Elena waking up in a bed, and we quickly learn she's been taken to the motel that Anna and Ben have been occupying and scheming in. Elena quickly realizes this herself and sees Ben asleep on a chair. She slowly gets up and from the bed and attempts to be as quiet as possible to unlock the door and leave, but she is immediately thwarted by Ben. Ben starts using compulsion on her, unknowingly failing because Elena has her necklace on, her vervain necklace on, to be clear. She plays along anyway for the sake of making another escape attempt. When she tries to bolt out the door again, Anna is there and pushes her back inside. Anna is, of course, frustrated with Ben for almost letting her get away, saying he tried using compulsion on her, and Anna, reminds him that Elena is on vervain or has vervain, and that she is dating a vampire. So obviously, Elena is aware of how to protect herself from them. As Elena scolds Ben, she shoves Elena into the motel bathroom. Inside the bathroom, Elena makes a real half-hearted attempt to reopen the door, which is just the visual is kind of silly when you're look at it multiple times. But then, turn the light on, and she looks around. Instead, she spots an unconscious Bonnie laying in the bathtub and goes right to her aid. Cue title card and opening credits. So, my first initial thought of this was, Elena gets points for pretending to be under compulsion to escape, but then minus points for the way she tries to touch the door to escape from the bathroom. Because did you notice this? The way that she touches the, because she's kind of and I'm
and I think she maybe checks the very briefly the window that's been nailed shut.
Yeah, I think she goes to the window, but then she's and then I'm like, Elena, what was that? But she did. But I'm giving her points for
earlier.
Actively trying to sneakily get out of a hairy situation.
Yes,
so
I agree. So my okay.
Why did you think about this?
Yeah.
Oh
no. I noticed it the first time I watched this episode, when Elena is getting off of the bed and creeping around Ben to go to the door. You see that she's wearing her tried and true Converse. And I just can't, all I can think is that girl's so lucky she was wearing shoes when she got kidnapped.
Definitely lucky. But also I was just thinking back to us giving Matt and Bonnie absolute shit.
Well, she wasn't in bed.
She wasn't. No,
and she was kidnapped.
She was. That's what I'm giving her. She gets a pass because she was kidnapped. So I mean, really, that's on Ben for not removing her shoes.
Yeah. But like, don't touch her.
But also don't touch her, so never mind.
But like,
it's fine.
so she's really lucky, but also like, why was she, when she was home in her bedroom with a headache, was she still wearing shoes?
She flops on her bed a lot with shoes on. I think we're gonna have to have some shoe watch, like, because it happens a lot. Like,
it really does. So there's that. And then also now she finally knows what compulsion looks like, right? Because she, in a previous episode, was like asking Damon, like thinking Damon was trying to compel her. So that's interesting. And then I just had this thought as we were talking through the scene about how we maybe should have clued in. Like, of course, it makes sense that Anna turned Logan, was working with Logan because, you know, he was buried behind the like he was at the motel, but he was like, so we know he was like eating through the staff, but then he was buried behind the mechanic off of Route something. It feels like that motel's nearby.
That's a good observation. I love that. Thank you for pointing that out.
All right, next scene. Well, then at least you know you'll see her again. We are at the Salvatore boarding house. Damon is reading from a tome in the study. Stefan walks in to alert Damon that Anna took Elena, but Damon, who is clearly upset from the last episode's betrayal, doesn't seem to care. Stefan's been searching for him, and he's concerned about Damon's blood still being in Elena's system. He continues to plead with his brother since he was working with Anna. By he, we mean Damon. So Damon's likely to know where she's at, but he doesn't give up any information and tells Stefan that he can go. Stefan tries to appeal to Damon by ultimately taking the blame that he screwed him over for Catherine. Damon looks like he accepted the apology to a degree. It does seem like there's some sincerity on both parts for a moment. But then he says that he hopes Elena dies. He's like, sincerely, I hope that she dies. And he walks away. So, really, my thoughts are just, I love seeing Stefan take accountability for his role in their feud.
Yeah.
They're both at fault. I don't think Stefan should carry the blame, at least based off of the current information we have, to the level he is. Like, Damon needs to get over some stuff.
Yeah.
And Damon killed his best fucking friend and his uncle and probably all their other ancestors. So, like, come on. And so my biggest thought is just, fuck you, Damon.
That's fair. On to our next scene. You really are Catherine's doppelganger. And we're back at the motel. Elena revives Bonnie with a wet washcloth, and Bonnie sort of comes to and says her head hurts. She starts to tell Elena that Ben is a vampire, but Elena quiets her, saying that they can hear. She turns on the sink so they can talk without the vamps hearing them. Bonnie feels stupid for getting fooled by Ben, but Elena assures her they were all duped by him. Bonnie then asks why they were kidnapped, and Elena says it must have to do with opening the tomb and Emily's grimoire. Bonnie didn't know about any of this, or Bonnie was like wondering why she didn't know anything about this, and Elena tells her she was hoping to keep Bonnie out of it and that it wouldn't come to this. Bonnie asks what she means, and Elena shares that they need a witch to break the spell to let the vampires out. Bonnie says she won't do it, and as she's kind of reacting to this, Ben bursts through into the bathroom and turns off the water and glares at them. Bonnie tells him he's wasting his time because she's not going to help them, but he grabs Elena and says that's why she's here, and like Elena is pretty much motivation for Bonnie to behave and do their bidding. He then mocks her for being desperate, rude, honestly, like her being desperate in terms of dating, which like I don't think there was anything about that was desperate, but whatever. Yeah. And saying that, but then goes on from that to say that Anna wants to talk to Elena, so he takes Elena and brings her outside, and he shuts himself in the bathroom with Bonnie. Weird. Anna tells Elena that she really is Catherine's doppelganger and that she must have the Salvatore brothers reeling. Elena asks who she is, and Anna says, I'm Anna. Your brother may have mentioned me. I mean, we're practically dating. And just, gee.
Yeah.
Is that one of mine, or is I don't even remember where I begin and where you begin and I end and I begin and you end? I can
talk through my notes. So yeah, I said that I have to give Elena points for turning on the water in the bathroom to conceal them talking. This is also our first official mention of doppelgangers.
Yeah.
So that's we're on Doppelganger Watch
We're on
now.
Doppelganger Watch.
And like, obviously Anna's being a dick here, but it's a real stretch to even joke that she and Jeremy are practically dating.
I know.
And a big thing I will talk about later and throughout this episode is that the trajectory of their relationship is really confusing to me.
It's already I'm already confused. And my one other take was is it me or is Ben one of the worst like evil guy tropes? Like just the way he's trying to be, I don't know, just the way he's I'm like, no, dude,
He's just a douche.
you're just not. Yeah. You're not it.
His vampirism amplified his douchiness.
Yeah, he
clearly has big insecurities that he's masking through his like tough guy macho.
Yeah, like
me.
Well, don't worry, we'll be talking about Ben more as we move on. So.
We sure will. Next scene. Duke's a douche, and speech number 1. We are at the Mystic Girl. Jeremy's doing schoolwork at a table. Meanwhile, Tyler is playing pool while talking to Matt, who is working at the Grill. Tyler tells Matt about this big party thrown by Duke, and Jeremy overhears Tyler's douchery and scoffs. Tyler asks what Jeremy's problem is, and Jeremy says he doesn't have one. Satisfied, Tyler goes, I didn't think so. Then Matt claps back at Tyler by asking if he ever gets tired of himself. Like, it's so great. He's like, do you ever get tired? And Tyler's like, of what? He's like, you. So Matt walks off. Jeremy finds this hilarious. Tyler is not amused, and he walks away. Then Caroline comes up to Jeremy in an iconic matching beret and plaid jacket.
I like when I swear, like, I'm sorry to like cut mid like overview, but like she walked into frame and I was like, this girl is amazing.
She knew we've been missing her, so she needed a grand entrance.
She really did. What an outfit, okay?
She pulls off a beret. It is not the last time we will see her in a beret.
I can't wait.
So she asks where Elena is, saying she's been texting her and Bonnie all day about Duke's party. Jeremy says Elena went somewhere with Stefan. Caroline makes a comment about that she like wouldn't be one of those girls that disappears just because she got a new boyfriend. Jeremy asks who Duke is, and we learn that he's a guy who graduated a couple of years ago who throws a party every time he comes home from Duke, where he goes to college. His name is actually something like Bob, but everyone calls him Duke.
Duke's from Duke?
Yep. Caroline invites Jeremy, saying everyone goes, even, quote, quiet, loner little brothers. Jeremy considers it, but then Caroline spots Matt and walks over to him. Matt, to his credit, genuinely seems happy to see our girl.
Yeah.
Is about frickin' time. She tells him she prepared a speech, and she says it's a preemptive speech in case he's having second thoughts or regrets about their kiss, right, after the decade dance. She offers him an out, and he asks why, and she says she doesn't want to make assumptions about what they're doing. But he just kind of smiles at her, and he's like, I'm good. Oh. Which obviously she's really happy about, and she asks if she'll see him for the party tonight, which he says yes before going back to work.
Oh my goodness. All right. So my first thought was, especially coming up here on Tyler, welcome back again.
Welcome back.
Because he wasn't in the he was not.
No, we
in
haven't seen him in a minute.
Yeah, we haven't seen him. So
he's been coaching the team.
He's coaching the team, but now he's throwing parties like an absolute wannabe frat bro, like with the keg talk, like when he's just like, yeah, well, Duke's my friend. Duke's got 10 kegs, like, so, you know, and I'm like, oh my God, just please do less Tyler with this. But him and Jeremy interacting, to me, still signals they're secretly in love.
Oh, yes.
The headcanon's still really strong.
Yes, I agree.
They're not beating the allegations.
No. Even as the episode goes on, you're like, there's chemistry here. One thing I had thought about, because Jeremy is so casual, like the previous episode ends with Stefan running upstairs to find Elena's room empty and her window open. Anna is gone. She has kidnapped Elena. Yeah. So like Jeremy and Jenna see him run upstairs and Elena's not with him. So Jeremy being like, I don't know, I haven't like seen her. She's somewhere with Stefan. Like, did he compel them? Which would make sense, but then also he hasn't done compulsion in the past because he said it doesn't work as well. Like, it's unpredictable because he doesn't feed on the people blood. And so I'm like, I have questions about that.
There's a lot. Like, or their lie or whatever lie he told them to, like, get her out of the house is a lot. Like, it's just very yeah, because it's super confusing. But, and I said that, like, because presumably they have their vervain, like, little jewelry totem, whatever, like, little, like, things on them, whatever they are. I'm not sure exactly.
Could, like, rip it off,
but I'm guessing he took it off. I originally was like, can the vampires touch it? But we'll find very quickly later in this episode, like, and obviously Stefan handles Elena's necklace, so, like, it is possible to,
as long as it's not just like
the actual plant touching their skin. Yeah. But which I feel is also very, you know, not as ironclad as one would think, especially if the vampire knows that a person's wearing that. But either way, you're right. The compulsion probably is spotty, but maybe it was, like, enough to get the job done for this moment. Maybe, I don't know.
Apparently, they're not asking the hard questions.
They're not asking as many questions as we are. I'll tell you what.
Especially, I mean, we've talked about how long that last episode felt, and that night felt like forever. They never had dinner. Elena and Stefan must have come back, like, hella muddy from digging up his dad. Like, there are things that you should notice. But anyway, I do think, as a person who does not really ship Caroline and Matt, I did think this was a really cute exchange between the two of them. And I like that he's, A, actually being nice to her.
Yes, thank you.
And B, it feels like he's genuinely, like, finds her charming in this moment. Like, at first I, like, kind of wrote, like, her neuroses, but I actually don't think this is, like, yes, her creating these little speeches and practicing them is, like, maybe a little neurotic, but, you know, she's just very type A. I get it. I love practicing a speech.
I know you would. I've no doubt in my mind.
Note cards and everything.
Oh, I love you.
But, like, she is being very genuine and is trying not to overthink things. And I think he's, like, finding that aspect of her personality really charming. And that's nice to see. She's being very mature, and I think it's all because of the hat.
Honestly, yeah. And to that I say, she's really come a long way from the yellow baby doll dress with the little, like, half cardigan from Night of the Comet.
Yes, she has.
She really has. She's stepped it up.
Yes.
Okay, on to our next scene. Spirits talk, Mr. Salvatore. We are at Graham's house, and we see Damon knocking on Graham's door. He tells her he's looking for Bonnie, and when Graham says she isn't here, he asks when she'll be back. Graham says never. Damon says he has quite an opinion, or says she has quite an opinion for someone who doesn't know him, and then Graham tells him, you've got some nerve knocking on a Bennett witch's door and asking her for anything. Damon asks what he did, and Graham replies to this saying, spirits talk, Mr. Salvatore, and so does my granddaughter. You are no friend to us. Now get off my porch. Love her so much. Damon steps closer to the threshold at this, like, little threat and tells Graham to step outside and say that. And she narrows her eyes and you see Damon just starting to wince and holding his head in pain. He starts doubling over and groaning, and Graham steps outside and tells him that she's not Bonnie and that he doesn't want to mess with her. And then she goes inside and shuts the door. She's a little exasperated from it, but like, what a baller move.
She's an icon.
We love her.
Like, truly an icon and a hero in this scene.
Yeah. Like, I just
and like her. When he's like, say that and step outside. She's like, okay.
Yeah. She's like, all right. Yeah. Sounds good. I'm going to, like, basically, because well, never mind. I won't, like, spoil, like, what's actually happening when they do that, because I think it'll get explained in a future episode. So we won't.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it then.
But that was amazing. I do feel like it's kind of weird that everyone looks for Bonnie at Graham's. Like, we know she spends a lot of time there, but allegedly she lives with her father.
Yeah.
And who we've not met yet.
Yeah.
We have maybe been at her house once, like in her bedroom. I don't know if we have. Like, she's always at Graham's. And so it's just kind of interesting.
It is like I guess I'm wondering if it's because she is a witch and like they know that Bonnie's a witch and they know Graham's. I'm guessing that. Well, clearly Damon also knows that Graham's is a witch, so it's just like going right to the source, right? Like not even bothering with her dad, who I don't know. I can't remember if he has any magical abilities, but I guess we'll find out. But yeah, so that's, I guess that would be my guess, is that they're just going right to the magical person they know.
Yeah. And then also Damon being like, what did I do? Like, come on, bro. Throw a rock and you'll hit some recent atrocity of your making. But also, like, he almost killed Bonnie a couple episodes ago. So, like, why? And, like, Bonnie has refused to have anything to do with him. So why wouldn't she tell her grandmother who's a witch? Or at the very least, tell her, like, fuck that guy.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure she's sound the alarm. I don't know if she actually ever told Grams about like what went down at the church. I feel like she did keep that from her.
Well,
maybe?
we don't
I
know.
don't know. But maybe at this point that's been revealed. I don't know.
Well, she had been hiding. She hid things from her, and then when she was blocked,
I guess maybe
she started telling her some of it, because she was like, she must. I actually feel like, because Gramps was like, whatever's got you so scared, like, you have to work through that, right? And I wonder if at the end of that episode, after Stefan rescues her, if she told Grams. Because I feel like at that point you owe her.
Yeah.
Because she's been working with a vampire to get you saved.
Yeah. No, that's so true.
But we definitely don't see it on camera.
No, we don't. So, but I think it's safe to say, I mean, she does say literally in this scene that, like, you know, spirits talk, but also so does Bonnie. So I'm guessing Bonnie's gotten her up to speed, right? Yeah. So
such a great line. Spirits talk, Mr. Salvatore.
She's great. And yeah, just her stepping through the door is just iconic.
Iconic. Our next scene is called Compulsion Won't Work. Just Use Violence. And we are back at the motel. Elena tells Anna Bonnie won't open the tomb. Anna says she thinks that Bonnie will. Elena then asks if Anna wants Catherine out that badly. And Anna says that no one she knows wants to see that girl again, except Damon, as Anna calls him the love-struck idiot.
It's so great.
Elena infers that there's someone else in the tomb that's important to Anna, and Anna confirms that it's her mother in there. She blames Catherine toying around with both of the Salvatore brothers as the reason she and the other vampires got caught. Anna shares that she saw Jonathan Gilbert take her mother away. Elena apologizes, and Anna, recognizes that she's like, "Oh, you really mean it."
Yeah.
So then Anna's like, well, we'll skip the dead mom bonding and get to what Elena's here for, which is leverage. She holds up Elena's phone, which I guess she grabbed at some point, and she calls Stefan. We then pan to the Salvatore boarding house, where Stefan answers, asking Elena if she's okay. Anna's on the phone, and she says that Elena's fine for now. She says that Elena will stay fine if Stefan has the grimoire. Damon leans in the doorway, listening to the conversation, and Stefan tells Anna he can get it, which she figures out means Damon has it. And she tells him that she has the witch. So she says that one of them better meet her in the very public town square in 30 minutes so they can discuss working together. And then she hangs up. Stefan looks at Damon, who tells him to grovel again, and then it goes, "Oh, wait, no, I don't care." And he walks away. Back at the motel, Anna knocks on the bathroom door to tell Ben she's leaving. He comes out holding Bonnie's arm. Anna tells him to keep them in check. Compulsion won't work, just use violence. He agrees, and Anna leaves. Ben pushes Bonnie onto the bed. He tells the girls to sit down and behave. Then he says that he's like, "Oh, so Bonnie, you're the key to all of this." Literally the one that opens the door. He starts asking how long she's been a witch. When Elena interrupts, saying she's thirsty and would like some water. After he threatens to drink her blood, Ben tells Elena there's water on the nightstand. So Elena reaches for it, and then Bonnie's just like, "Hey, can I have a sip?" And Elena's like, "What?" She's definitely confused by this, but she hands the glass to her. Bonnie then tosses the water on Ben's arm and turns the water to fire with her mind. As he's burning, Bonnie and Elena run to the door. Bonnie makes it outside, but Ben manages to grab Elena, and he tells Bonnie to come back in and lock the door. So my biggest takeaway from this, other than good effort, Bonnie, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was waiting for her to try to use her magic in some capacity. But why is Bonnie the key? Because she's truly a baby witch, right?
Yeah.
Like, Ben is onto something of like, how long have you been a witch, right? I'm like, T-minus 4 episodes or whatever it is, right? And as far as Bree shared with us, like a few episodes ago, that we just need a witch.
Yeah.
Nothing we've been told says it has to be a Bennett witch, even though it was a Bennett witch who cast the spell.
Yeah, because they just need the grimoire that gives the blueprint for the magic to be done. So, I don't know.
I'm like, aren't there other witches somewhere?
Like I mean, if Bree's also a witch, like there has to be, right? Like, so there's other, like, family lines of witches, I would imagine. So I think this was I mean, just good effort on all fronts, right? And because Bonnie's like finally using magic kind of offensively, if you will, and
defense.
Defense.
Because
we can't stop with the sports. We can't.
Us go sports.
Us big sports fans. But, I mean, look, our girls are being very resourceful.
I like to see it.
I'm so proud of them.
Yeah.
I am. Okay. On to our next scene. Strange and Lurky. We are at the very public town square. Wait, I love that. That's how you wrote that. That's very funny. But it was. And Anna arrives at the square. Jeremy, who's leaving the girls, sees her and calls out to her. He runs over and asks what happened to her last night, and she apologizes, saying that she has to leave. She then blames Elena for not telling her. They're not telling him that she had to leave. Like, what? But Jeremy says he hasn't seen Elena and asks if he again, just ignoring the fact that he hasn't seen his sister, and just goes right into asking if Anna wants to go to a party with him tonight. Anna's definitely flustered by their run-in, but she recovers and asks if he's finally ready to go out with her. Jeremy tells her that he hasn't been to a party in a while and that he wants to get back out there and stop being such a loner. He says he likes her, and her Anna, and that she's fun even if she's kind of strange and lurky. He mentions that it's in the woods by that old cemetery. This obviously interests Anna, so she says she'll meet him there, and Jeremy is very excited. Anna then walks away from him and sits on a bench. She looks around, and when she looks back to the right, Damon is sitting right next to her. He asks if she has a hot date or if she's just nabbing the entire Gilbert family, which is like actually pretty funny. And then she says, "A party right next to the old cemetery. Isn't that nice of them? Lots of warm bodies for starving vampires." Damon reiterates that he's working alone, and Anna says that she also is working alone, but she's minus a witch, but he's minus a witch, and she's minus a spell book. So Damon tells her Stefan will come after her for messing with Elena, and Anna says he won't be too happy when she kills Elena if she doesn't get what she wants, and then she stands up and walks away. We see Damon scrunch up his face and sigh before saying, "When do you want to do this?" Anna turns back smiling and says, "It's like 1864 all over again. You Salvatores are truly pathetic when it comes to women." She tells him that they'll meet at the church tonight after sundown. She walks off, and Damon seems upset that he showed his cards. Well.
So, a few things. There's snow on the ground.
Yes.
So, interesting.
Winter,
okay.
February. Well, I mean, maybe
it's not February there. It's
no.
still 2009.
In there. Yeah, I guess that's true.
So, I think we're in December, but I do have notes about it somewhere. But I think we're in December just based off of what I can gather. Anna's hair looks much better. So I guess she called up Caroline when she got back from her dad.
I think so.
Like, for real.
Yeah, it looks like Anna's catching some feelings for Jeremy, it seems.
Yeah.
More than just a pawn piece to get her mom out of the tomb.
Yeah.
So, interesting is all I'll say. And to be fair to Anna's point, the brothers are pretty pathetic when it comes to two women who look exactly the same.
Oh my God. They're so pathetic. Absolutely. I love, like, Damon, your feelings are showing, bud, and you're so mad about it.
He is mad about it.
I do feel like Anna's, and it's just kind of how things operate in this universe, and that these immortal creatures operate is they just like threaten each other, right? But like it, for whatever reason, she feels to me like she's, and maybe it's because she is like younger and we saw her infantilized so much in the previous episode with all the flashbacks, but like when she's like, well, he's going to be really upset when I kill her when I don't get what I want. And I'm like, oh my God, is a toddler having a tantrum?
Yeah.
It just like feels very like that to me.
Yeah.
But also, you know, like Damon's like, I told you I work alone. And she's like, and so do I. And I'm like, but honey, we've actually only known you to work with people. Yeah. You turned Logan, you were working with him. You turned Ben, you were working with him. And then you've been working kind of with Damon, another vampire. So in fact, she's turned most of her helpers, which is kind of fucked.
Yeah.
And she doesn't seem like she actually works alone.
No, she's well, she literally says in the early, like in the last episode, was it that the last episode that she has people, when like Damon asks her why they haven't seen her when she's in Mystic Falls, she literally says she has other people do her dirty work. She literally says that.
Right. So she's like,
so she doesn't work alone.
She doesn't work alone.
Oh my goodness.
Next scene, Stefan to the rescue. We are back at the motel. Taunting Bonnie, Ben says that witches don't have eternal life, so they can die. Like, he's like, witches don't have eternal life, do they? So that means you can die. Like, that sucks. I'm like, shut up, Ben.
I feel like that's like them trying to make sure that we also know that.
Yeah, it absolutely. But all of a sudden, the door opens, and it's Stefan. He leaves the door wide open, pulls back the curtains, letting the sunlight into the motel room. Ben screams and hides in between the beds. Stefan tells Bonnie and Elena to get outside. He then goes over to Ben, who's curled up in a ball. We see his face is burnt, but it's starting to heal. Stefan tells him that when the sun goes down, Ben needs to leave town. If Stefan sees him again, he will kill him. And he leaves Ben cowering on the floor.
My only thought here is Stefan's being too nice, and I would have just killed Ben. Just right then and there.
I agree.
And Dwight also, it was funny because Dwight and I were watching the episode like one more time last night, and when that scene came up, Dwight said the exact same thing, and I was like, honey, guess what? I have the same exact note.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good note, and I think it's maybe part of the, like, Stefan, like, he tries not to kill unless he has to.
Yeah. Giving everyone the benefit.
We will see what happens when they have a little dalliance later in the episode. So moving on to our next scene, not as sorry as they're going to be. We are at Graham's house. Bonnie asks Grams how she knew where they were, and Graham tells Bonnie that many things can fuel a witch's power: worry, anger, and that when Stefan told her Anna and Ben had taken Bonnie, Grams had a lot of both. So she was able to easily do a locator spell. Bonnie apologized for all of this, and Graham says, not as sorry as they're going to be. Stefan and Elena walk in then, and Elena asks what they're going to do now. Stefan says that they should all stay there because he can't protect them if they leave their house. Grams is like, be a prisoner in my own house, you know, and she's like, no, we'll protect ourselves. Elena says that they need to let Damon have Catherine back, her thinking being that if they help him, it could end this. Bonnie says that he doesn't deserve to get what he wants. I agree, Bonnie. And Elena asks what other choice they have. Grams is not happy, but she says, witches being pulled down by vampire problems. As much as we tried to do to stay out of it, I'll open the tomb. You get your brother's girl and destroy the rest with fire. Then this will all be over. Stefan says they still have to get Damon to agree. Elena says he did once already, but Stefan reminds her that they then double-crossed him, and he's angry. Elena says he's hurt, and there's a difference. She tells him she thinks she knows what she has to do.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well,
you can jump in first.
You have your first. This is the first thought.
Grams invited Stefan in, right? Because he's in her house. In the previous episode, she would not invite him in. So she must really trust him at this point. It's
really big. I really love that she trusts him. Like, that's just, their relationship seems so, like, kind.
I'm still shipping them in 1962.
I love that. I love that.
Their picnic.
Adding to the headcanon forever and ever. But yeah, so it's interesting that to learn in this universe that when witches feel strong emotions, it can make it easier to tap into certain magic, like a locator spell. And I mean, it makes logical sense, right? Like feeling, I mean, emotions are very powerful. And so having that kind of fueling the energy directed towards an intention or like a spell would make sense that it like heightens the ability to, or the efficacy of it.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
So I do love like getting to learn a little bit about that in the universe.
I totally agree. And then my last thought is I really don't think Grams or anyone should open the tomb.
No, absolutely not. Catherine can just stay in there for all I care.
Yeah, that's fine. Even though I love her, she can stay.
Yeah, I know. She's amazing, but it's just dangerous. Okay. On to our next scene. Plots and pivots. We're back at the motel. Anna returns from the town square to find Ben hiding from the sun in the motel room, and she's frustrated. She starts mentally plotting and going over their predicament and determines that Damon's not going to stop trying to open the tomb and that they'll be there when he does. My only one thought of this little baby scene is that Ben probably could have closed the door if he vamp sped over to shut it. Might have stung a little, and I just think he's an idiot.
He is. He absolutely is.
So next scene, fool me once, shame on you, but I'll trust you anyway. And we're at the Salvatore boarding house. I'm proud of myself for that one.
It's really good, yeah.
Okay, so as Damon puts on his jacket, Elena arrives at the Salvatore boarding house, removing her scarf watch.
It takes her so long to take her scarf off.
It does. She's really like,
I'm like, is this some kind of weird striptease?
Like, I don't know. With the way this conversation goes. So Damon picks up a book and says he's going to have to change the locks. Then Damon asks if she staged a jailbreak, but she says that Stefan helped them escaped, and Damon's unsurprised with this, calls him like a white knight or something like that. Elena goes on to say that she's convinced Bonnie to help Damon, open the tomb, and Damon disregards this, but Elena continues by saying she's not sorry that her and Stefan went to get the grimoire without him last night because she was protecting people she loves. But she also levels with him and says that he too is trying to protect the person he loves, Catherine, in his own twisted way, and says they're all on the same side. Damon says he's not interested, but Elena says he was willing to work with them yesterday, and he just replies, fool me once, shame on you. So Elena just decides to switch topics and asks why he didn't use compulsion on her when they took their little road trip to Atlanta, and Damon retorts by saying, who says I didn't? Elena kind of stumbles over this, but is certain that this is not the case and knows that he could have. She tells him they have something. And understanding. And she knows her betrayal hurt differently than Stefan's did, but now she promises to help him get Catherine back. Damon, still unconvinced, she takes off, she does a move where she takes off her necklace and tells him to ask me if I'm lying now. Damon kind of just looks at her and tells her that Anna's not going to stop no matter what to try to open the tomb to get to her mom, and like no matter what Damon also tries to do. So she says that they'll deal with it. And as Damon grabs Elena's necklace and puts it back on her, he says, I didn't compel you in Atlanta because we were having fun. He stops and they share a look. I wanted it to be real. I'm trusting you. Don't make me regret it. Oh boy. These two. I have questions about Elena, but we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
So her saying that they have something and an understanding feels a little manipulative to me.
Oh, 100%.
And it's giving her talking to Matt at the career fair. Like, is it not?
Roll my frickin' eyes.
Like, I don't know if she's like intentionally doing this, but it kind of feels like she's doing something. She's like either unintentionally manipulating, but like, or she's just has like underlying feelings that she's not letting come to surface. But we'll, I guess, be monitoring that as the show goes. But
yeah, it also makes me really uncomfortable and we'll see more of it in this episode and in upcoming episodes, like both like how close he gets to her, but also that she intentionally or not is like very drawn to him and having these little like side conversations and all of these things. And I'm like, I don't know. I feel like we can make an argument that like you are really playing with fire and like this could go into like cheating on Stefan territory pretty easily.
Yeah, it just feels very feels like something.
Which I would be more mindful of since, you know, history between these two brothers.
It's what is this? Well, I mean, I guess we'll keep investigating. Also, like, Damon very easily decides to trust her. Like, they are, again, kind of going to your point. These two, like, get on the same page, like, very quickly. Like, we saw it when Elena, like, barely put up a fight on the road trip. And now this, it's like, they've already, like, Stefan and Elena already screwed Damon over, like, very overtly. I mean, he was kind of going to screw them over, too. More expected behavior from Damon. But it's like, he just, you know, just caves when we've earlier in the episode, Stefan's like pleaded with him multiple times and she comes over.
An actual genuine apology.
Yeah, like a true genuine apology. She comes over and moves one scarf and one necklace and here she is. and he's all of a sudden ready to trust.
Yeah. I felt that way too. I will say I feel like she's way more believable here than in the kitchen, though obviously she's
telling the truth.
But I do like seeing him be more vulnerable.
Sure.
And like sharing, like I wanted it to be real, but I do agree that he trusts her too easily.
Yeah. Also Damon being close again. Always just a little too close to literally everybody. Physical touch.
Yeah.
Damon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our next scene. Brothers. Well, actually, it's brother.
Yeah.
Brother, witches. Elena featuring Duke's Party in the Woods. We are in the Mystic Fall Woods. Damon and Elena arrive at Duke's party, but they're headed to the Fells Church ruins nearby. Elena says she forgot about the party and hopes everyone stays clear from the church. Damon doesn't care. How could she forget? Caroline's been texting her all day.
I know.
Right? And also, like...
Do you think that Caroline just, like, has, like, been blowing up her and Bonnie's phone, like, being like, hey...
Absolutely. Text threads.
What are you wearing to the woods?
What are you wearing? Should I wear my beret?
Do you want me to do your hair?
Do I have a nighttime beret? But also, like, you should think about the party would actually... I feel like the party is actually a missed opportunity in this episode. It doesn't have a lot of overlap with what happens at the tomb, even though Anna makes us think it will, right? Yeah. And I feel like that's a missed opportunity from the writers, but also I feel like for our core characters, like they should have maybe done it a different day.
Yeah.
You know, just saying. Matt and Caroline approach Elena and Damon. Caroline instinctively grabs Matt's hand, which Elena immediately notices. As Caroline asks where she's been, and Damon says, long story, no time to tell it. Caroline clarifies that she wasn't talking to Damon, and he says, sure you were. Matt introduces himself to Damon, and Damon, ever the rudest, says, Matt, there's a reason we haven't met. It is really funny. Like, it's so rude, but it is really funny. And shuffles Elena off towards the woods as she apologizes to them. We pan over to the tomb opening where Stefan comes out saying he's cleared the debris and set the torches as the witches have asked, as both Bonnie and Grams are here to help open the tomb. Bonnie points to some gasoline and a torch blower and asks Stefan what it is, and he says it's everything he'll need to destroy the other vampires in the tomb. He hands Grams a flashlight, and she asks if he's sure Damon will come back with Elena. Just as she asks this, her question is answered by Damon greeting everyone with purpose, saying, brother, witches.
It's so funny the way he, like, marches in there, too, because he's like, brother, witches.
Yeah. Stefan asks if everything's okay, and Elena says she just wants to get this over with. We cut back over to the party where Tyler is chugging some beer and another guy being cheered on. He beats his opponent. Jeremy arrives at the party across the way, and as he walks by Tyler excuses himself from the frat bros actual frat bros, to ask Jeremy for weed. Jeremy scoffs at this, calling out how Tyler's a dick to him every time they cross paths, and now he wants to party with Jeremy Jeremy. Tyler plays this off, but Jeremy says he doesn't party anymore, and if he did, it wouldn't be with Tyler. Tyler backs off and makes some remarks about Jeremy being a loner, asking if he even has any friends, and then he walks away. Jeremy is clearly not vibing at the party, but Anna shows up moments after Tyler's departure, which lightens his mood. She asks if he's okay and if he wants to take a walk.
Oh, man. It's just some funny stuff over here. Like the Caroline, Matt, Elena, Damon exchange is very funny to me. Like Matt, who is the furthest out of the loop, just trying to be nice and introduce himself to Damon. It is a bummer seeing like Caroline's insecurity here by like grabbing Matt's hand when like they kind of all come together. But also, why aren't these two wondering why Damon is actively yanking Elena away, especially Caroline, given her history with Damon? Like, I don't know. I feel like if I was seeing you being kind of like shuffled off by my toxic ex, I would absolutely be following you to wherever he's taking you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So and then Matt does have like an off sense. Like Matt is pretty perceptive, I will say, because he has like an off sense being like kind of like that's weird. But I guess maybe because Elena is not like frazzled, she like
I would still be like, take your fucking hand off of her.
Yeah, agreed.
You old man at this teen party.
Just can't. Tyler's in love with Matt. He's trying to build a bridge.
You think with Matt?
Or sorry, with Matt. Sorry, not with
Jeremy?
Matt. With Jeremy. Not with Matt. No, they're just friends. Sorry, I miswrote that.
I even wrote a note to you, mean
thank
Jeremy.
you, yes. Jeremy and Ty, like this is a love story for the ages, in my opinion. I just
create art.
They
sketch each other and they fall in love. And it's through their signatures or something that they realize the other one loves the other one.
Yeah, like I mean, I would watch that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This episode, the writers are really driving home this idea that Jeremy is a loner with no friends. And like, what I want to know is, has he always been a loner, or is this a direct result of his parents dying? Because he's lived in town his whole life. So he has to have had friends at some point, but it's just, they're like really driving that home. Yeah. You know, Caroline calls him a little loner brother. Now this, I just think it's kind of weird.
It is
and then my last thought is, a party in the woods by the cemetery? What could go wrong?
What could go wrong? Except for I would love to go to a party in the woods by a cemetery.
Sign me up.
Yeah, like I would absolutely do that.
But I'm 100%. Not going to Duke's party.
No, I wouldn't go to Duke's party.
In 2009, I would have, but
probably me too. Unfortunately, no, we would just have some like nice candlelit, like sipping some wine on some nice blankets in the woods. I think that's like our vibe. But I would do it at night.
Yeah, I would
with a nice little bonfire too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
hell yeah. Okay, our next scene. That's it. Just water from the tap. We are at the Fells Church ruins / like tomb area. Grams is calling the elements air, earth, fire, and Bonnie says water, holding up a water bottle. Elena asks if that's it, confused by its simplicity to start the spell using tap water, and Grams asks, as opposed to what? I just love this exchange so much. Elena says she thought the water would need to be blessed or mystical or something, and Grams smirks at this. It's just lovely. Stefan questions Damon, who is currently, while this is going on, pulling out a blood bag. And Damon says it's to get Catherine going, and then jokes unless Elena is going to give her a vein tap. Stefan tells Damon to admit that he can't wait to get rid of him. Damon tells Stefan. My goodness, I was flip-flopping names all over the place in this episode. Damon tells Stefan to admit that he can't wait to get rid of him, and then he says it literally right back to his face, and Bonnie interrupts saying, they're ready. So this is like a little mini folklore inside, because we do have some more folklore to focus, but just like a little mini, because I feel like us as witches can't go away without talking about this. I love that we're getting a glimpse of Grams and Bonnie calling circle, which is like a common thing in magic. So just a little tidbit here for you. In witchcraft, calling the elements is a common practice to invite these energies for elemental balance and protection while doing a spell, working, or ritual. This is so we can create a liminal space between the worlds for the magic to happen. Normally, when calling circle, witches will call the elements in a clockwise direction, starting with air and then fire, water, earth, or in some other practices, some people will do earth, air, fire, water, but it's still going in that like clockwise direction. And then normally, like especially in our coven and other and like rituals that we've done, even in our witch community, we'll close the circle as well, going in the reverse direction. So you would do earth, water, fire, air, or if for folks that do it like start with earth, then it would be water, fire, air, earth. So you're like kind of opening the circle and then you like counterclockwise close the circle. I'm not sure why they called the elements like air, earth, fire, water, but it might have just been because the writers were unfamiliar with this and just wanted it to end on the water for the purposes of dialogue. So I was just like curious, like what you thought of that.
Yeah, I did clock it. And I think it's probably just for the dialogue, and it is a funny exchange. Yeah. I do love it. And, you know, for listeners who are maybe not familiar with magic and calling the elements, for something like water, you know, we do love to use something like moon water, that's collected on a full moon, for instance, but you can just use whatever's at your disposal. And it's really about the intentionality that makes it do what it's supposed to, right? I also just feel like everything from the earth is inherently magical. Yeah. But you know, you can do something fancier if you want. If you want
to, for sure. Also, another thing that Dwight called out is that when they are actually lighting, and I didn't add this in the notes, but like Grams is lighting 3 torches when she's calling the other elements.
It's just confusing.
It's just confusing. And then there's just water. So there's not like another light that they're like using to represent that.
Right. It's like fire, fire, fire. You're like, what's air? And like, what's earth?
Yeah. My best guess is they have these like torches in the ground. Okay, earth. You got earth. Okay, maybe some smoke from the fire. Sure, we can go with that with air, but it's not very clear. And Dwight literally, again, like while we're watching this goes, that's just fire 3 times. And then water, like you just said.
You are right, Dwight.
And it was just so funny because I'm like, yeah, that's true. That's a little confusing. So yeah, like normally, again, just to clarify from like a practicing witch perspective, you would, when you're calling in the elements, like if you do it this way, some people just will call them in and like maybe face the directions because each element has like a directional like correspondent. But what also folks do, and I know we do, is like we have kind of like a representation for each one. So like there is so if you're calling a circle for air, like you might have like some incense already going that kind of represents that, or lights incense to have the like air aspect going. For fire, you'd light a candle. For water, you would pour the like moon water or the regular water, whatever water you've got on hand, into like some kind of vessel. And then for earth, maybe you have some salt, maybe you have some just like anything from the earth to kind of put that there. And then that would be, so you have all of the physical representations of each element to kind of just anchor your working. But they just didn't do that here.
Yeah, and I think it might be in part that they just genuinely didn't study it, and it was just kind of to their purpose.
Yeah, so hey.
They didn't know we'd be watching it this closely.
No, but also, hey, supernatural shows, if you ever want witches to like just be doing some magical passings
call me, beat me if you want to reach me.
Yeah, call us, because we'll do some magical like passes for your shows.
Yes.
Or anything.
Yes, definitely. And then just my last thought for this scene is that it's really a question to Elena. Why are you wearing like 5 layers and a scarf, but nothing is really zipped up or covering you? Like she's wearing a shirt with a sweater with a leather jacket, but nothing is like zipped higher than this. And it's just full. I know she doesn't really have big boobs, but like full chest.
Yeah.
And then she has this scarf, but it's just literally on her neck.
It's a thin scarf, like Caroline's scarves.
Right. I know. Well, she was inspired. She's really, the last few episodes has been inspired by Caroline. And you know what? It's refreshing to see because she is a fashion icon, even if she doesn't always get it right. But I just was like, yes, wearing jackets, but
yeah,
what's happening?
Just cannot.
Yeah. All right, next scene. I'm taking him to meet my mother, and speech number 2. We are in the Mystic Fall Woods. We're over in the other part of the woods with Anna and Jeremy. She says this place is wild, and Jeremy pokes fun at her for liking dead people. She says she's strange and then notices a change in Jeremy's demeanor. She asks if he's okay, and he says that the woods make him think of someone. And she asks if it's a dead someone. He says, no, just someone I used to know. And we know that he's thinking about Vicky. Jeremy goes on to laugh about how short of time they spent at the party. Like, he says 37 minutes or something. Yeah. And Anna asks if it's not his scene. He says he's unsure what his scene is anymore and asks if she wants to be a part of his non-scene, which is cute.
Yeah, it is really cute.
She says she'd be happily a part of his non-scene, but unfortunately reveals to him that she and her mom are moving away. Jeremy's bummed by this, and they share a hesitant but clearly mutual goodbye kiss. Presumably due to her emotions, Anna starts vamping out, and Jeremy notices before Ben knocks him out. Just hits him over the head. She tells Ben he didn't have to hit Jeremy that hard, but clearly jealous, Ben insists that he did. She tells Ben to grab Jeremy and says, let's go, because she's taking him to meet her mother. Back inside the party, Tyler takes Matt's drink out of his hands. He's like, soup? And drinks some. He's clearly a little toasted. Tyler asks where Matt's date is, and he says he doesn't know, and and Tyler patronizingly asks if the honeymoon phase is over already, to which Matt responds, maybe. Tyler, so annoying. Tyler goes on to give him shit about the shit Matt gave him for liking Caroline in the first place. Right? Like when Matt was like, I'm not going to apologize. I actually really like her. Fast forward to this. Matt confesses that he's unsure if he can do the whole couple thing and that Caroline might be a little clingy. Tyler is pleased by this because he needs his boy single anyway. For what? For what? What? He then spots Caroline by saying incoming as she spots them and waves warmly. Tyler, when she gets over, says he's not drunk enough and excuses himself to get another beer. Once he leaves, Caroline tells Matt she's another speech, and Matt agrees to listen, but he's definitely not as open as and cheerful as the last time she said she had a speech. Caroline then goes on to name how she awkwardly grabbed his hand when they approached Elena and Damon, citing that it was lame, and despite knowing Matt's confusing feelings lingering for Elena, Damon was there, and since he was always such a jerk to her, she wanted to show off that she's now with a good guy. She asks if she's forgiven, and we see him soften, and he says, of course.
Oh my goodness. Well, what a little exchange scene of all around here. So we get a little echo of Vicky. Mm-hmm. Tough that Anna says a dead someone, and that made me immediately think, I wonder through her off-screen lurking if she knows that Vicky was killed. It seems possible.
I mean, she definitely would know Vicky was turned into a vampire because she grabbed Logan before he died.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So interesting. And if Anna wasn't using Jeremy for personal gain, I'd say this is cute, but it's not because she's using him. But I do think that she likes him more than Ben. Yeah,
clearly. And as I've already mentioned, I find the progression of Anna and Jeremy's relationship to be really weird. She now seems actually into him with that kiss, but then is like, all right, I'm going to let my mom eat him. And then, he's so hot and cold, weirded out by her, and now they're smooching in the woods. I don't understand. He didn't really seem that convinced by Damon being hot Trump's weird.
Yeah.
And then, invites her over, and she just ditches him.
And then he's and then just, runs into her in the town square and is like, hey, how's it going? Just... what's going on with these two? I mean, at least it's not as tumultuous as the Vicky relationship, but it's still just very weird.
Give it time. Give it time to just further annoy me. Caroline continues to be the best communicator, even if she doesn't always make a great decision in the moment.
I love her. She's just really I love her. She is just our communication queen. Yeah. And I want good things for her always. Also, Matt sucks, and I'm genuinely confused on what he wants, because that's a crappy dude move to just say being afraid to be with someone in public. What? That's that is so high school though.
It is so high school.
Hate it.
And what further frustrates me is that it doesn't seem, from what we know of him and of his relationship with Elena, that he had any issue being a public couple. And he still openly has feelings for his ex, right? Like,
Yeah.
that is not a secret.
Hey.
So that's a huge shadow for Caroline to exist under. And yet here she is being open-minded, communicating clearly. He also definitely was hiding from her
Yeah.
instead of just talking to her, which, to use Caroline's word, is lame.
Yes.
And
Agree.
like, he's just so ready to write her off as crazy or clingy. But from where I'm sitting, he's the one with issues, and he needs to shut the fuck up because he's lucky she's even looking his way.
I know. I mean, like, one, Caroline is beautiful.
Beautiful.
Such a catch.
She's so cute.
Clearly
too.
communicative.
Right.
I mean, she does have a little bit of an abrasiveness to her, but like that's something she can grow out of, like, clearly. And it's just like, he's definitely like, it's interesting that she's apologizing for this very small thing that she did when, like, I feel like, kind of to your point, he just has way more to apologize for because he is the lame one.
Right. And like, she's taking, like, he's allowing her to live in this space.
Yeah. Yeah, like, doesn't even say it's not a big deal. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. We will continue to watch them. There is something I saw online, which I won't mention, like someone reflecting on the series, and I won't talk ahead of where we are now. But they were just talking about how Matt Donovan is literally the worst to Caroline, and how, like, he just repeatedly, like, treats her like crap and tries to convince her that she's crazy and that she's clingy and that she's the one doing something wrong. And that's just not the case.
You're just like an average Joe dude, and she's got like a lot. She's brimming with potential.
She is brimming with potential.
I mean, look at her. Look at her hair. Look at her beret. Look at her jacket. She's stopped. She can't be stopped. Okay. Okay. On to our next scene. Of course it worked. And we are at the Fells Church and at the ruins and the tomb. Bonnie and Grams are chanting to work on opening the seal of the tomb while Elena and Stefan and Damon look on. Damon asks what they're saying, and Stefan thinks it's Latin, but Elena says she doesn't think it's Latin. And we also don't know because the subtitles don't pick up on any of the chanting. Like, I don't know about you, I always watch this, like, even though we have the transcripts too, but like, I always watch with subtitles on. I'm just a subtitle person in general.
I'm a subtitles person too.
And so it's just funny because it just like suspiciously drops out of like the chanting. Like, it doesn't have anything for that. So wasn't able to do a little more digging. So but yeah, so as the witches keep chanting, the fire around them starts to grow, and Elena asks what's happening, which I feel like, just, girl, what? Like, they're doing a spell, Elena. That's what they're doing.
Well, even being like, them also, they're questioning like what language they're speaking. Like, shut up.
Just like, let them do the fucking spell. Leave them alone. They're already working overtime for you fuckers.
Right.
Like, get out of here.
For free.
For free. Okay, so all of a sudden we hear some creaking stone, and the tomb kind of just moves open. Damon says they have some fires to build, and Stefan says he needs to get some gasoline and we'll be right back. As soon as he leaves, Damon looks at Grams, Bonnie, and Elena and asks if Elena is ready, pointing out that he's not going to go inside the tomb himself, only for them to seal him in. He grabs Elena, but Graham says if he brings her in, she'll take the walls down. And Damon again points out that if he doesn't take Elena in, would Graham's not just bring the walls down on him anyway? They both bicker about trusting each other, and Elena tells them to stop. Honestly, though, the way that she says this, especially to Graham, who is an elder, who should be respected, by the way, hated that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I understand what she was going for, but like, be a little more respectful to Grams, please. Thanks. But she then goes on to say she understands that Damon needs leverage to not get locked into the tomb, so she agrees to go with him. Damon grabs a torch from where Bonnie and Grams did the ritual and asks if he can take it, and then they go on inside.
Our next scene, torches gasoline and Grams with the plan. We are still at the church ruins, the tomb. Stefan goes to get the gasoline, but is interrupted by Ben. Stefan says he thought he told Ben to leave, and Ben says he considered it, but screw Stefan. Anna arrives and tells Stefan that she's going into the tomb to get her mother, but Stefan says he can't let her do that. Anna tells Stefan that Ben's about to make a main course out of Jeremy, who's laying unconscious at Ben's feet, so we'll have to decide if he wants to stop that from happening or thwart Anna from entering the tomb. Back inside the tomb, Elena and Damon are making their way inside looking for Catherine. They hear whispers, and Damon says since Elena's inside, they can sense her, which we can guess is probably because she's human and she's full of blood, human blood bag. Damon walks away searching for Catherine, leaving Elena behind.
What?
Outside the tomb, Anna comes down the stairs and Bonnie tells her she's not going in there. However, Anna asks if Bonnie thinks she can stop her. Grams gives Bonnie a signal to let her go in. Anna takes a flashlight, just like picks one up off the ground,
literally.
Doesn't even say thanks, and heads inside. Upset, Bonnie asks why she let Anna go inside, and Graham says because she isn't coming out, and none of them are. We move back upstairs or up, out of the tomb, where Stefan and Ben are facing off. And Stefan asks Ben if he really thinks Anna cares about him and tells him that he's disposable. Ben says she already gave him what he wants, which I guess is immortality. We don't really know.
He doesn't say it explicitly, but Stefan assumes.
Yeah. And Stefan scoffs at this, assuming it's eternal life as a vampire, and asks if he's really that stupid. Ben changes the subject and tells Stefan that he's heard about him and that he doesn't feed, and that Stefan is not strong enough to beat him. Ben then rushes at Stefan, and Stefan just easily hits him in the chest and knocks him out.
I love this.
Yeah, he's just like, boink. Ben then gets up and asks if that's all he's got, which I'm like, with zero effort.
Literally just took the wind out of you, bro.
Right. And Stefan replies, nope, I got this. And then lights him up with the blowtorch. My bad.
Incredible stuff from Stefan over here. Oh my God. This scene's actually fun. This is pretty fun stuff. It sounds like Anna forgot to clue Ben in on some vampire lore that older vampires are naturally stronger than newbies. So I think that's I know that he doesn't feed on human blood, but Stefan probably still would have been stronger no matter if he was feeding on humans or not, just because of the age difference.
Yes, definitely. A really big question I have is why didn't they bring gasoline down at the beginning? It's not that tight of a space down there, and it's the perfect opportunity for Damon to do something like that, for Anna to sneak up. I just they knew Anna was going to show up, and there was zero preparation or defense for it, right?
Truly.
Grams has her plan, but Damon literally tells Elena in their weird too close conversation about their understanding
too close conversation
that Anna's not going to stop, and she's like, then we'll deal with it. And neither of them deal with it. Neither of them deal with it.
They don't.
And then you know what? It is so fucked up that Damon leaves Elena alone. It's incredibly dangerous, right? We know our girl is clumsy, right? One misstep and she's toast.
Honestly, though, why, this is just a thought that I had as you were reading this, why wouldn't she just have, followed her way back out of the tomb?
I have a note about that later.
Okay, great.
Literally, why we'll see she in one of the upcoming scenes. Literally, I think it's the next scene. She just keeps walking deeper in, looking for him. I'm like, turn around.
Yeah, that would have just at the moment that he pieces, what are we doing, girl? You could just go back out there, but whatever, it's fine, I guess.
It will make total sense when she has a conversation with Anna in a bit, and you're like, Anna's really clocking on to something, because seriously, just leave the tomb, Elena. And then actually a lot of the upcoming problems would just be null and void. And then my last question about this scene is, do vampires need flashlights or torches? As nocturnal hunters, wouldn't their eyes be good in the dark? Also, Anna, you didn't plan ahead. Why didn't you bring a flashlight if you need one? It seems pretty lucky that you could use theirs.
Yes, I would. I'm so glad that you brought this up, because it was also, again, another thing that I had been thinking about, and I was thinking of a note that I wanted to add, and it was about this, because all of their senses as vampires, from what we know, all get heightened. So that would include sight, which would be for our D&D Dungeons and Dragon heads out there. I would assume that these guys have what some races in D&D have, what's called dark vision, where they can see in the dark naturally, so they don't necessarily need a torch, whereas other races that need actually light assistance if they're going into somewhere like a dungeon where it's going to be dark, a character would need some kind of light source if they don't have that.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure, and I mean, there's D&D has a lot of like things and it evolves like constantly. But I'm pretty sure at this point you can play as like a vampire in D&D, and they definitely have dark vision. So I would feel like they would at least be able to see in the dark. So it does not make sense to me why they're like being so torch and flashlight forward.
Right.
So anyway, thanks for my little D&D corner, but it gave me an opportunity to bring it up.
I love that.
So yeah, I don't know. Well, confusing. Okay, so next scene. I told you I will protect my own, and we are at the tomb. And we're back in the tomb with Elena, and she's looking around for Damon, who just left her to her own devices. She hears whispers and stumbles upon some chains, and oh no, there's a desiccated vampire attached to it. She looks around and sees that there are a ton of them, which is quite freaky. Honestly, like super, I would be terrified to happen upon a like swath of desiccated vampires.
Terrifying.
As she's looking around terrified, she comes face to face with Anna, and we cut to a commercial break, but not before seeing that one vampire that like has his eyes just like it's so scary.
It's very freaky.
Okay. When we come back, we're outside the tomb with Grams and Bonnie when Stefan comes back from torching Ben and asks where Elena is. Bonnie says Damon took her inside, and he goes straight for the tomb, but Graham pleads with him to stop, saying that if he goes into the tomb, he won't be able to come out because opening the door didn't remove the seal, it just opened the door. Stefan asks about the seal, and Graham says some seals are made to keep vampires from entering, and other seals are meant for keeping them from coming out. Stefan puts together that since Elena's human, she'll be able to leave, but Anna and Catherine won't be able to, as well as Damon. Oops. He surmises she was never planning to break the spell, and she replies that she told him she would do whatever it takes to protect her own, and that Elena can get out, which is all that matters.
Yep. And we already talked about my real thought, which is this bitch just keeps walking further into Bluebeard's castle.
Yeah,
like,
she just goes in. Yeah, she just goes further in. It's
just turn around. Also, if you're ever lost, whether it's in the woods, etc., do not just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
You want to either turn around, in this case, because turn around and follow the light.
Yeah.
Or like sit down or like stay where you are until you have your bearings.
Yeah.
Don't go further in. That's like survival 101.
I know. Ugh. Like, it's like, what is like that's like kind of actually just a fun little like quick question for you. Like, what do you think like the map is of this tomb? Like, it just feels like.
It feels huge. And then in a few scenes, it's this big. Yeah. I have no idea. No idea. Yeah. And like, obviously we only see it in the dark, so we don't really have a clear sense.
Yeah, I wish we had like some schematics of what that tomb looked like. I mean, I bet they could have probably found it in like some of the historical archives, to be honest. So that's on them.
Yeah. All right. Next scene, Gilbert blood and promises kept. So we're still at the tomb. Anna is advancing on Elena, saying that she must have a taste for it, getting caught up with everything because she screams and escapes only to come back to it. And like, I honestly, yes, Anna, you are right. She's like all about, she waffles on so many things, and like she just was kidnapped and got out of it, convinced everyone to help Damon, and then he abandoned her, and then she keeps following him, which honestly actually is a really great metaphor for this episode. Yeah. That he is a piece of shit. And let's not forget that he said he hopes she dies.
Yeah.
And then he leaves her alone in the middle of a vampire nest, basically, of starving vampires.
Oh.
Okay. Elena tries to back away and trips over one of the desiccated vampires, who just happens to be Anna's mom. Anna immediately goes to her mom and then turns back to Elena to tell her that Stefan did this to her. But Elena corrects her and saying that his father did. Like, think back to a few episodes ago when Damon was like wanting to get revenge on the council and the founding families, and it's like, you can't blame people. Stefan was like, you can't blame them for what their ancestors did. Yeah. And I'm glad Elena points that out. Anna adds, so did Jonathan Gilbert, and that a long time ago, she decided it would be Gilbert blood that would bring her mother back to life. She was going to use Jeremy, but before she finishes her thought, she vamp speeds over to Elena and bites her wrist and feeds Elena's blood to her mother. Outside of the tomb, Stefan hears Elena scream and runs inside without hesitation. Bonnie says to Grams that they can't just leave Stefan in there and runs over to the grimoire and asks Grams to show her what to do. But Grams says that he made his choice, which I don't think is really fair. Grams says they're not strong enough and that even if they were able to bring down the seal, there's no guarantee that they'd be able to get it back up again. Bonnie doesn't take this for an answer and reminds Grams that many things can fuel a witch's power and asks her to help her or she'll do it alone. When we pan back to the tomb, we see Pearl feeding on Elena's blood. Elena is in pain, and Stefan arrives to get Elena away and says to go and that he's right behind her. Pearl calls for Anna, and they embrace. Elena makes her way out of the tomb and tells Bonnie and Grams that Stefan is right behind her. Stefan is, in fact, not far behind her, but due to the spell, he can't exit the tomb. Elena is unsure what's happening, but Bonnie assures her they're going to fix it. Elena asks what it is, and Stefan says he can't exit the tomb, and Bonnie lets her know that the spell is still up, and they can't get them out yet. Elena turns back to Stefan and asks if he went in there not knowing if he would come out, and he says that he had to because he heard her screaming. Elena then says they can't leave Damon in there.
I find thoughts
Either because they promised him. Grams tells them that even if they can break through the seal, they're not sure they'll be able to hold it for long. Stefan goes back inside the tomb to get Damon.
Oh my God. Okay. So I know I'm Team Damon, but why the fuck is Elena's first thought about leaving Damon in the tomb when her boyfriend valiantly ran in there to help her and is now also stuck inside the tomb? I just don't understand.
Right. It's very oh my God, I can't believe you did this for me. Now what about Damon, who forced her to go inside and then abandoned her? And heard her scream, had to have heard her scream, and did not come to her rescue. As always, we have questions. I also want to know, why didn't Stefan bring the, fire gun torch into the tomb? Seems like a good thing to have against someone like Anna, who's going to be at least as strong as he is. And then when Anna's it's going to be Gilbert blood, I'm it sucks to suck, Anna, but you missed the note that Elena is adopted. We don't know what her blood is yet.
We don't know. I love that. All right, on to our next scene. How could she not be in here? And we're in the tomb. Inside the tomb, Damon is grunting and kicking around at Catherine not being inside. Stefan finds Damon and tells him that Catherine isn't there and starts repeating, and he just Damon kind of in denial starts repeating she's not here. And just definitely just upset about the fact that all this has gone down for her not to be in the tomb. And Stefan asks what, and then angry Damon screams to Stefan she's not here and throws the blood bag onto the wall, bursting it. Bad idea, Damon, my God. Outside, Bonnie and Grams are working to lift the seal, and it seems to be working despite it draining both of them. Anna and Pearl successfully emerge from the tomb, and Anna says she was just trying to get her mother back and leaves with her. Inside, Stefan is pleading with Damon, who was still reeling at the fact that Catherine isn't in the tomb, but Stefan urges him that it's not worth spending all of eternity down in the tomb. Elena comes inside to the tomb again, running back in, to plead with Damon to come, and the three of them eventually exit. Bonnie and Grams are pulling all of their energy to break the spell or hold the seal open for the rest of them to get out, and the trio does, and once the chanting ends, the stone door to the tomb closes.
So yes, as we were talking a little bit about how big is this tomb? How is Stefan able to find Damon so quickly when vamps can't sense other vamps? And also, how does Elena find them so fast and magically not trip on anything? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And then, okay, I've got so much logic that I'm just going to throw at all of the lack of logic. Please. Real talk, why didn't Bonnie and Grams just wait until Stefan and Damon were waiting at the door to lift the seal? Preserve your energy and make sure other vampires like Anna and her mom can't get out.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, as I said, I can't handle your very logical tapes as really deeply looking at the show because it cracks me up because it's so true.
Right. It's
what?
Well, like I said in a previous episode, sometimes the easiest thing is actually the easiest thing, right? And if you know this is going to take a lot out of you, wait until they're right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you could have frickin' Elena holding the torch so that no one else can come
Exactly.
through after them.
There was just like a lot more better team mechanics that could have occurred in this episode, and we can talk about it more in our final thoughts.
Yeah. And then the biggest thing is Catherine isn't in the tomb.
What a twist.
What a twist. What a twist.
What a magical twist, if you will.
Yes. All right. Our next scene, speech number 3. And I'm sorry your vampire girlfriend wasn't in the tomb. We are back in the woods. Caroline chats with friends by the bonfire while Matt stands off by himself. Talk about being a loner.
Mm-hmm.
She notices him and walks over. He asks if this is for real. And she's like, what do you mean? Like, she has no idea what he's talking about. He says, you being all cool and honest and open. Caroline steps closer to Matt and says she has a third speech. She says, I want this to work, and I'm scared that you're going to change your mind and you're not going to want it. I don't want to mess it up. Matt says he doesn't want to mess it up either. They smile at each other and lean in, their foreheads touching. Outside of the tomb, Steph and Elena run over to Jeremy and are relieved to see he's okay. Damon walks up, heartbroken. Elena goes over and hugs him, saying she's sorry.
Tough look for our guy, Damon.
Sure is.
Okay, next scene. It was a big spell, Grams, and we are at Graham's house and then also at the Gilbert residence. Grams walks unsteadily to her room, and Bonnie notices and goes to help her, but Graham says she doesn't need Bonnie to coddle her and but Bonnie says that it was a big spell and that she could tell it took a lot out of Grams. Grams insists she'll be fine and goes to her room. At the Gilberts, Elena gives Jeremy a glass of water and some aspirin for his head. He says he's all right, but wishes he knew why he passed out. He promises he didn't drink that much, and Elena asks if he remembers anything, and he says the whole thing is pretty cloudy. He then apologizes to Elena, saying that he knows how this looks, but she interrupts him, saying he doesn't need to be sorry because he didn't do anything wrong. She asks if he needs anything before she heads to Bonnie's for a bit, and he says he's going to crash. She tells him Jenna is there if he needs anything. Jeremy watches her go downstairs and then goes over to his desk to the computer and searches the word vampire in Bing. Uh-oh.
Very sneaky of Jeremy, right? Like, not as cloudy as he claimed, which does make me like reinterpret the scene because it feels very like wholesome and tender between these siblings. And then I'm like, how much are you being genuine about Jeremy versus not? But his search is giving me Bella Swan and Twilight vibes because she literally just like goes to a browser and is like vampire. And so it like totally,
I love it.
Totally gave me that. So
yeah, and the whole internet like interface like looks very of like the time, right? Like I mean, it's not that search engines look that different today, but it does feel very like what that looked like at the time.
They definitely were in like sponsorship with Bing because Bing will come up again and they'll like name it that they're searching on Bing, you know? And then we have no Jenna in this episode. That's not a spoiler for the last couple scenes. We won't see her, but allegedly she's been home this whole time.
Truly, like what? Okay, girl.
All right, next scene. Why do you get a happy ending? And we are at the motel. Anna brings her mom into the motel room. When she flicks on the light, Damon is sitting in the corner. He tells Anna she knew Catherine wasn't in there. Anna confirms this, saying she knew that Damon wouldn't have helped her. He vamp speeds out of his chair and starts choking Pearl, who looks less desiccated but is still weak. Damon wants to know why Anna and Pearl get to have a happy ending when he doesn't. Pearl, still being choked, manages to tell him that the guard of the church who locked the vampires in was obsessed with Catherine, and she promised to turn him. So he let her go. Damon is shocked by this information, and he then lets go of Pearl. She gasps and Anna holds her. Anna says the last time she saw Catherine was in Chicago, 1983. She says she knew where you were, Damon. She didn't care. She then says sorry, and she hugs her mom. Leona Lewis's Run starts playing as Damon, absolutely crestfallen, leaves the hotel room, looking over his shoulder at Anna and Pearl's happy ending.
Dang.
So more logical questions for me. Can vampires be choked when they technically don't breathe?
I wonder if it's more just, it's like crushing their like vocal cords or just like the bones and stuff in their neck that's actually happening.
Which would hurt.
Yeah.
So this is obviously a really sad scene. Yeah. And I do feel really badly for Damon. So to lighten the mood, do we think Catherine had a perm in 1983?
Oh my God, probably.
What do we think her hairstyle was?
I mean, she was definitely slaying in, like, a workout outfit. Like, and
Definitely you think she had, like, a little, like, workout band in her hair.
I just, like, really think she let, like, her I mean, because I don't know. I mean, I know she, like, mostly rocks, like, curly hair, so I don't know if that's, like, a natural thing for her or if that's just, like, of the time they were, like, curling her hair or whatever, but I just I would have loved to see, like, the tight curl, like, frizzy tight curl, like, just the bang, like, the teased bangs, and
Yes.
I mean, she would have slayed.
She would have slayed. She would have slayed.
But I would also love to see, like, all of our vampires, like, through the ages, like, when they were talking about the brothers in the 90s, like, would have loved to see what that looked like, and just honestly, that would just be super fun. Anyway, I also feel bad for Damon. His diabolical plan got thwarted twice, but it's actually very sad at this point because it's very clear that he was in love with Catherine so much to go through all these lengths. All right. Are we ready? Is this, I think we're in our final scene. Okay. So we are, the scene is called No One's Going to Be Okay. We're at Graham's house and the Salvatore boarding house. Elena's on the phone with Stefan. We see Bonnie in the background making tea. Stefan asks if everything's okay, and she says yes. Elena asks if Damon is going to be okay, and Stefan says he doesn't know and asks if he can call her later. She says, of course, and they hang up. The camera then pans over to the boarding house, and Damon is sitting in front of the fire, and Stefan just, like, comes to sit next to him, and they just sit together in silence. It's quite sad, but also very moving, too. Just, yeah. And then back at Graham's, Bonnie brings tea into Graham's room. Graham's appears to be asleep, but Bonnie puts her tea on. I think I'm gonna cry. Like, this is, like, so sad. Oh, my God, I'm gonna cry. Oh my God, first, like, real cry of the pod. What? Oh my God.
It was gonna happen. It's a big scene.
Oh my God, why am I crying? Okay.
Do you want me to read it?
I might. Okay. Yeah, go for it.
So Bonnie brings tea into Graham's room. Graham appears to be asleep. Bonnie puts her tea on the bedside table and tucks Graham's in. As she pulls the blanket up, she notices that Graham's isn't moving or breathing. She tries to wake her, getting increasingly panicked when she doesn't stir. Bonnie starts crying and screams for Elena. Elena runs into the room and Bonnie tells her Graham's isn't breathing. Elena runs to get the house phone and calls 911. Bonnie grabs a spell book and Elena goes to stop her. Bonnie tells her she can fix this. Elena wraps her arms around her as Bonnie sobs. I think
I can pick.
Okay.
No.
Okay, I got it. I was getting teary-eyed too.
Like, it's just like so. Yeah. It's just such a sad moment. We move to the woods by the tomb, and intense music plays as the camera focuses on the tomb with the wall that the blood bag hit from when Damon threw it. And a desiccated vampire grabs the blood bag from the ground, and then we see him walk through the tomb, past the other still desiccated vampires, and with effort, he opens the door to the tomb, looking very zombie-like. As he steps out, Graham's spell was broken. And cue credits. Whew. Okay. Wow. I wasn't expecting. I mean, I was like, I've cried every time I watched it because it's just like so sad. But before we talk about a little bit about the Grahams of it all, Stefan's tearful looks at Damon in this scene and even earlier parts of the episode are like really heartbreaking. It just goes to show that no matter how fucked Damon is as like a person, like Stefan obviously still cares very deeply for him. And I love their quiet moment because sometimes like when someone you care about is going through it, like that's all you can do is just be there. And he's clearly just there for his brother. So,
this scene is seriously heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Damon is obviously beside himself. That is really sad. And I think that scene shot really well and the acting is phenomenal. But Graham's.
I just
magic, especially to that magnitude, has consequences. And we'll talk about this today in our folklore. And I'm very upset that we've lost her at all, but lost her so early.
Yeah, I mean, clearly I'm very upset by this. She was just like an incredible like character and a sage elder who just like knew things and was such an asset. And I just hate that Bonnie now has to discover what it means to be a witch without her.
Yes.
So, and then also like the tomb seal is gone and that like, so you're saying like, tell us a little bit about that. Like what your thoughts are.
Yeah. Well, so the vampire who, gets the blood bag
Yeah.
that Damon had thrown against the wall, is able to physically open, like the stone door
Yeah.
and step out because the seal is broken.
Yeah.
And my read on it is that it's broken because Grams died. So the spell is broken.
Yeah, I think like the way I was kind of seeing it is that if it could be that, or just that the energy they spent like just doing the lifting of the seal to get everyone out. I wonder if it just kind of like they like lifted it, but then instead of like lifting it, it just completely broke it instead of actually
so they
doing
just
that.
physically closed the door,
they just closed
not
the door.
magically.
Yeah,
That's interesting. I have always thought it was because of Grams dying, which I have so many questions about because she did the spell with Bonnie and Bonnie's very much alive.
Yeah.
So I mean, in both like in lore and then in a lot of like pop culture representations of witches, if the witch who casts the spell dies, like a lot of the time it's like, oh, well, it's like the spell's no longer.
Right.
Though not with Emily.
Yeah, that's why that was like the one reason why I was like, I'm not sure if it's that because of the fact that as we see, Emily's spell is very well intact and she had been gone for a long time, but I don't know. So interesting magical stuff though. I really think this episode just covers some really cool stuff to like just muse over and think about.
Yeah.
And I'll be curious to see like what actually happened.
Me too. And then I have one last question. Why is Elena using the house phone in this scene? Where is her cell phone? Because when she's on the phone with Stefan, she's using a house phone. And when she calls 911, she's using the house phone.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, we know you have a cell phone.
But did Anna keep it? Was Anna the last one that had it?
Oh, that could be why. But like even then, I'd still probably use Bonnie's cell phone.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're in the age of cell phones in 2010 here. So I mean, or 9, or I guess it's still 2009 in right now. So 2009 in the show, but in general, and this time this show is aired, it's 2010, and people have cell phones. So I don't know.
Right.
All right. Oh my goodness. Whoo! What our first like emotional truly emotional moment. I just think that Grimes is a great character, and we're definitely gonna touch on more of that in our final thoughts and hot takes, but we'll move right along to some folklore. All right, let's get into some folklore. We both have some fun folklore topics to cover today. So I'm going to start us off with some magical seals, and then later Christina is going to talk to us about
the price of magic.
So, all right, we will jump right in. So, in this episode, Bonnie and Grams go to dangerous lengths to lift the seal that was cast by Emily on the tomb to keep the vampires from being able to come out. Not only was the tomb locked with a spell that had a physical barrier, but it also had a spell that kept any vampire from exiting even if the stone guarding the tomb was open. As we will learn in our latter section today, magical seals can pack a lot of energy in them and can create or dismantle like certain things, right? So to create or destroy is a big energetic task. And that obviously comes at a severe price, as we saw with Grams. And they were obviously executing that to a large scale in the episode. But so magically speaking, magical seals are symbolic forces that hold a powerful magical working, whether it be for protection, manifestation, healing, or prosperity. Magical seals are versatile in use, much like talismans or amulets, which we have learned about previously in other folklore sections. Seals are more or less like not necessarily like an actual object, but either like a space or a symbol or sigil that can be placed somewhere in particular to serve a purpose and imbued with magical intention. A common way to create a magical seal is through making sigils. For folks who may not know what sigils are or are new to sigils, sigils are a condensed representation of an idea or intention. They can be composed of letters or symbols that are combined in some way to make a shape or image unique to you and your magical intention. The act of creating a sigil imbues it with your intention and then can be anointed with oils that correlate with the working you're trying to do, or drawn like in a specific color that's associated to embolden your sigil. Like for example, like maybe if you're doing a money sigil, maybe you'll want to use green to because money's usually associated with green and expansion. So that's just a little small example there. And then use maybe even going as far as crafting a sigil by harnessing a celestial event like a waxing, waning, or full moon, depending on what you're trying to do with the sigil, can also increase the potency. So, in our episode, while there is a pentagram that's on the door of Fell's Church, that might have been used to create the seal of locking the stone. It's actually not clear to us whether the pentagram was also serving as a sigil for the sealing in the vampires. I don't know. Like, what do you think about that? Just like briefly, like,
I really am going to go out on a limb and say that there's a good chance that they the creators, the writers just slapped a pentagram on that because it's a witchy symbol and was like, ooh, audience, this is the tomb.
Yeah.
But I think we could read further into it if we wanted to, and it could be a sigil.
Yeah, like, so, yeah, that's it's definitely inconclusive. And as we remembered, like, the crystal, before it was destroyed, did have, like, a casting of the pentagram, too, which I guess technically they kind of connect, right? Because that's what the crystal was originally going to be used to seal in the vampires. But anyway, so we don't know that for sure, but sealing often comes with some kind of magical symbol to hold it in place, but not always. Energetic intention with some magical tools can work just as well. So, for example, many witches suggest sealing mirrors since they are known as like kind of like portals or pathways for entities or spirits to pass between realms. So a way to seal a mirror is that you can use like a cleaning agent like salt and water. There's also like Florida water, which is like kind of a specially curated water that has, I think like it's like I think it's a little alcohol based too. It has a little bit of that, but there's other cleaning agents you could use for that, or you could use oil to like just trace the outline of the mirror like counterclockwise to seal it off. You could also just like, if you were using something like oil or even with the water too, you could like create a sigil and then like trace that directly onto the mirror for this purpose as well. This could also work for like actual doorways or windows. Like, so maybe you want to protect your home, you could probably like do some kind of motion, counterclockwise motion to like seal it and close it from like any unwanted energies, or like doing like drawing a sigil in the air for that purpose as well. So in our previous folklore segment on seances, Christina and I discussed protecting the space from malevolent entities while performing a seance with our coven. And to do this, we did create a seal by guarding the window with a candle that only allowed benevolent entities into to like enter the space, and then another one that was specifically designed to keep malevolent entities out. Right? Did I say that right? Did I say? Okay, great. I was like, did I mispronounce? But these candles did have sigils on them and were anointed with oils that further represented their purpose: ancestor oil for welcoming the ancestors to our seance, and banishing oils to keep anything shady out. The one intended for keeping entities out was surrounded with black salt for extra protection and for banishing. So what's really exciting is if you're interested in making your own sigil, it's very easy to do, and there are a few different ways you can go about doing them. So first, above all else, you'll want to like clear your mind and space to prepare or pour, so that you're getting ready to like pour your intentions into the sigil. Maybe you want to even like put some like certain kind of music on that like might get you in the zone, but you could even call the elements like we were talking about earlier in the episode today, like to just create that space for your working. And you'll want to take time to like ground yourself and meditate on the intention before getting to work. So one way you can create a sigil is to write your intention out in full. It can be a statement or a sentence for whatever you're trying to do. And then you will strike out all of the vowels from that sentence. So if, say, like, for example, like a bigger, like you want a bigger paycheck or something. So you like write like bigger paycheck for work. I don't know, just off the top of my head. So then what you would do is you'd strike out all the vowels or any repeated consonants, and then the consonants that are left over, those are going to be the ones that you're going to like craft into a sigil. And that's going to be something where you kind of like can look at the different letters and like just combine them together to have them create this kind of, they always end up looking like a very mystical, cool shape, right? Like, so you just sort of play around with that, and then once you're like happy with the way it looks, like that's can be your sigil, and that, you know, it's that's one way to do it. And then and you can trust your intuition as you're like placing the letters as well. Another way to make a sigil is to use symbols that are associated with your intention and combine them like you would the letters. So like if you were, you know, doing kind of like a money sigil, right? Like you maybe want to use like the dollar sign. Maybe you'd want to, I don't know, like a little bag of money. I don't know, like other little like iconography that's associated to what you're trying to do. And then trying to find a way to like connect them and put them all together to create one image. And then a final way you can make a sigil is to just like intuitively draw the symbol while envisioning what you're looking to seal it in. So those are just some different ways to go about making sigils if you're interested. But all in all, when it comes to magical seals, what's most important is your concentrated intention for the seal while you make it. So now let's go over to Christina to discuss how magic comes at a price.
Yes. Thank you for telling us about magical seals and specifically sigils. I think we need to make a sigil for the podcast.
Yes, we definitely do.
So stay tuned. We may or may not share that.
Yeah.
That might be something just for us, but we'll see. So when we were preparing for this week's episode, the idea and the theme of magic coming at a price or at a cost seemed pretty large. And we saw that, right? We saw that it comes at a steep price. Grams warns Bonnie that they didn't have enough power to bring down the seal on the tomb, and it cost Grams her life. Magic is a resource and it has its limitations. And we see this depicted in various tales, but it also ties into real life witchcraft. So I'm going to start by talking a little bit about what witches like Brenna and I, our knowledge about working with energy, but then also how you should work with it, how you should be mindful of it, and some personal details about some of the workings that we do. And then we're going to talk about some pop culture moments where we see outside of TVD, where we see this theme pop up. So some of this Brenna was touching on in her section, but witches know that the earth is alive with energy, and by aligning with its rhythms and harnessing its power, they're able to manifest their intentions and bring magic to every day. Whether it's through the cycles of the moon, which Brenna was just mentioning, the wisdom of plants, or the grounding energy of the earth, nature provides endless magical tools. Tapping into the energy of a specific event, say a comet, can amplify a working. And this is, we are pagan, so we specifically work within the cycles, the natural cycles of the earth, and are very tuned into doing magic in tandem with nature. But I feel like most witches feel this way.
For sure.
That it's important to honor the earth and have gratitude for what it offers your witchcraft. Especially with climate change, it's important to be mindful of how much we're harvesting or taking from the earth, and then also offering gratitude. The earth is a finite resource, just like our personal energies. So every spell that is cast requires energy. Witches raise and direct energy towards our attentions. That's like kind of a really simple way to think about witchcraft. It's having a clear intention and then raising and directing energy towards it. Grounding techniques are really important to help us stay rooted in balance. So things like meditation, breath work, and visualization. And Brenna and I have discussed in previous episodes how we deal with magical blocks. We also talked a little bit about creative blocks too in that episode. And the biggest lesson we've learned is that sometimes your personal energy or the energy around a work is just not in alignment. And when that happens, it's best not to force it. Brenna and I both read energy and consider ourselves to be empaths, meaning we feel or experience what those around us are feeling. I believe that we all have a little bit of empath in us, though. So I have this little example. Think of it this way. If you sit down for an interview for a job and the interviewer has their arms crossed and a closed off expression on their face, you're likely going to feel uncomfortable. You're likely going to feel more protective. Maybe you won't disclose as much as you would if the person is friendly, inviting, or you might not show as much of your personality. And that is reading energy. Literally as simple as that, right? So when Brenna and I read tarot for folks, part of what we're doing is reading the energy of the person we are talking to, and sensing how they're feeling. So this, in combination with tapping into our intuition and our knowledge of the cards, can be very draining, energetically speaking. I know for myself, and I'd love to hear from you in a moment, Brenna, that if I read for too long, or I read for energy vampires, pun intended, that I start to feel exhausted and literally like I'm empty, like I'm a husk. So I've taken this knowledge from reading tarot for folks for a long time to figure out what set of boundaries I need for how long I'll read. And I also always cleanse both myself and my tarot deck afterwards. But uh how do you protect your energy when it comes to reading tarot?
Yeah, so I love this, and I'm loving the section so far. So yeah, I feel like very similarly to you, I do like cleanse myself, usually before and after, definitely my cards, and even in between readings if I'm doing like an event where it's flash readings where I'm going to be reading people in quick succession, I'm always like shuffling the cards to kind of just get the person's energy off of it, knocking on the cards to clear the energy. But also like just definitely especially like to your point, after reading and that kind of output for an extended period of time is exhausting. So I always try to like come home and like make sure I'm hydrated, have a little snack. Cause even like honestly, when we do stuff like magic, when we're doing like coven related things, like if we're doing something big, like I definitely feel like depleted or like even just a little, just like I worked out. You know, like that's kind of how it feels. It's just like it's just your energy. So, just always just taking care of myself in the way that I would if I was like which you are physically exerting. It's just like in a different like energetic level way. But yeah.
Yeah. The hydration piece is really great. I usually have a headache if I've read tarot for too long, or if just whether whether the person was going through something and I'm taking on some energy, of that. Or if it's, sometimes we just have people you read for who suck the life out of the moment.
I also have like in my, when I do read for folks, like if like again at usually at your shop or at our lovely other spot, which is our stylist Nicolette's hair salon, which is amazing. But what I'll do is I also have like little like some crystals that like also help me. So I have one that's like a smoky quartz, which is like good for kind of like taking that energy. I sometimes will have black tourmaline there, which is also good for kind of like banishing negative energy, selenite, cleansing. And then I think I have one that you gave me, which is I think it's calcite. Maybe. And that's for like just kind of like just for my own like emotional like well-being. And it has a little heart, so it looks really cute when I put it on the table.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that with me. So now that we've talked about energy and the importance of balance in witchcraft, let's take a look at a few examples of the cost of magic in TV shows. So the first example I'm pulling from is from The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, which I'm a big fan of. As mentioned in a previous episode, I'm currently watching Riverdale for the first time. So in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina Spellman learns repeatedly that magic comes at a price. Some examples include her resurrecting her boyfriend Harvey's brother, only to bring back a body without his soul. Harvey has to kill his brother, which further traumatizes him. It's so messed up. And this is a theme that I wanted to specifically talk about this part because Bonnie starts flipping through the grimoire at the end of the episode like, I can fix this. And like Elena stops her.
Yeah.
But she's like, going to look to try to resurrect
sure.
Grams, right? And so this idea, this theme often comes up in supernatural TV shows and stories that you can't bring back the dead, or you shouldn't bring back the dead, because it sets the natural world and its realms off balance, and there's always a steep price or consequence.
Yes.
Another example from the Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is that abusing magic or overextending the magic that you're using, it ultimately cost Sabrina her life in season 4 of the show after she's created a time loop and 2 versions of herself exist, throwing the balance of the universe off. This creates a void that she sacrifices herself to contain. So she learned a very steep price with it. Then I had to talk about one of my favorite shows, Charmed, the OG Charmed, though I did like the reboot for the most part. So in the original Charmed series, the Hallowell sisters lose their powers frequently throughout the show. Like every couple episodes, they just don't have powers. But usually it's due to a warlock or demon. However, sometimes it's due to their own actions, and they are often stupid things that they've done. But the biggest lesson that the sisters learn in the series is that magic comes at the price of love. So the show explores romantic, especially in the later seasons, which I didn't love, but also sisterly love. Prue, played by Shannon Doherty, is killed by the source of all evil's assassin, Shax, at the end of season 3. And their mom was killed by the water demon when they were children. So they're really learning that being a charmed one, being a witch, puts them in a dangerous position. And then it had been a minute since I did a rewatch, so Brenna stepped in to help me with a little bit, a little nugget from the Buffy universe. So in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Willow's intense grief over losing her partner and fellow witch Tara in season 6 sends her on an extremely dark path because she overreaches and allows some pretty dark and baneful magic to consume her. This ultimately leads to Willow brutally murdering Tara's killer, Warren, with no remorse, and this puts the world at risk. She's so overrun with dark magic and grief that she's ready to bring the world down. While she doesn't lose her powers, which I was reading an article the other day that was talking about how why this was such a good choice for her to not lose her powers. But it would have totally made sense if she did. While she doesn't lose her powers, it shows that overindulging in magic also has consequences of corruption, and it takes a very unique situation from an unlikely hero in Xander to bring her back to herself.
Thinking about that, I'm not gonna cry again. If you've seen Buffy and you know the scene, it literally makes me cry every single time.
Oh, that episode.
It's so good.
And then we won't spoil what happens to Bonnie through the rest of TVD, but she will continue to learn that magic comes at a cost. And unfortunately, for this spell, in this moment, Grams paid the ultimate price.
Yeah. Dang. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that. What good little folklore section. It's like fun. Folklore/magic section today. So thank you for that. Now we will move on to our hot takes and final thoughts. Okay. Let's get into our hot takes and final thoughts. Who wants to go first? Do you want to go first?
I'll go first. So I'm just going to start with my biggest thought is Grams, no.
I know.
I just upsetting. It's so upsetting. It's heartbreaking. Especially because in the last few episodes, we started to get more screen time with her, and we learned a little bit more about what she was like growing up. And she's been she was just so confident and able to just really hurt Damon with her powers. And it's such a horrible moment for Bonnie to lose her. I'm just sad she's gone.
Yeah, I wonder, because I know sometimes we have overlapping kind of sentiments on stuff. So maybe do we want to go a little back and forth? Because I feel like some of them are. Yeah. Because just to kind of build on that, I think Bonnie finding Grams in this episode, going back to Buffy, really reminds me of the Buffy episode, The Body. And I think that's why I have such a visceral reaction to it, because if you've seen that episode in season 5 of Buffy, there is I'm trying to like avoid, I know we like kind of do some like pop culture spoilers in this spoiler free podcast, but if you want to not know this, you can skip a few, but if you, it's, you know, just skip ahead. But when Buffy comes home, she finds her mom like dead on the couch, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. It makes me sob every time, no matter how many times I've seen it, which has been a lot because I've been a fan for a very long time. And I really wanted to like hand it to the writers because like this, as we saw, me crying, I couldn't even read through like explaining it to everyone today. It's like packs a similar punch, which is impressive because this is only the first season. So that like in the case of Buffy, like we were with Buffy and her mom for 5 whole seasons before she passes away. And like this is just this is one season of a show, and like
only a couple episodes.
And a couple episodes. Yeah, only a couple episodes. So it's like clear that the writers had a really good way of making us care about that relationship, or at least I felt like I really cared about the relationship. And then this is my hot take around like the Grahams of it all. I can't believe Grahams died for this, and this is a fucking waste because they could have found a workaround eventually, and it's like not worth losing an absolute G to this teenage bullshit. Like there were just so many things that went wrong in this way
because of trying to help vampires
and just trying to help vampires.
Even though we love vampires, but she specifically says like for all they try to do, they get pulled down by vampires.
Like this is what I wanted to like say in this moment is that why couldn't they have just had like Bonnie, honestly, if she really wanted to help, she should have just like gotten Elena out of there. Like just out of like she should have went in. Got Elena out of there. Maybe not like from Anna.
Did try to stop Bonnie from going in because she did try to go in specifically after Stefan.
Yeah, and I like kind of wish she just had let her get in there to just be like, I'm gonna get Elena out, and then they could have all the humans could have been out, and they could have figured out a vampire situation, but like to safely get the rest of them out instead of like exerting it in that way, maybe recruiting some other witches, as we know, like why not? Like call a coven.
Tap into spirit magic, since obviously the spirits talk to Graham. Could we wait a little bit until there's another event, say the full moon? I know that comet we have to wait a really long time for, and I guess we're to believe that because Emily had the crystal with the comet, she was able to do the spell by herself.
I'm guessing she did it by herself.
That seems like a lot.
But yeah, just some things to think about.
Yeah.
But, okay,
my next thought is actually very in line with that. I was like, would it have been so bad if they had left all of the vampires in the tomb, including Stefan and Damon?
Yeah.
I know this is a spicy take, but like it would take time for the brothers to desiccate, and Elena could visit them, bring them blood to keep them going, at least until Bonnie and Graham's get stronger or get reinforces like a celestial event, right? Like, I understand you're like, we shouldn't leave. I'm really fuck Damon. I don't care about Damon, especially in this episode, minus the end. I feel heartbroken for him, but like, leave him in the tomb.
Yeah.
Let him have his tantrum in the tomb.
Yeah. At least wait for them to like desiccate and stuff, because then you could actually eventually maybe safely remove.
Right. And it's like, yes, Stefan does not deserve to be in the tomb, but he's not going to desiccate immediately.
No.
So if you guys could just leave the door propped open, Elena could bring him a bunny.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Or fucking just bring him blood bags, and he just has to deal with whatever his blood stuff is while he's shut in a tomb, safely in a tomb.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's not as do or die as, you know, say our mortal characters like our witches.
Yeah. So yeah, which is, I think, just the biggest thing that made me so angry about that, because I don't know. I just was upset by the fact that we lost Grams over this.
Yes. Yes. Where is Jenna? Where's Alaric? He could have been a cool person to enlist.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I know that they're trying to keep Alaric and Damon separate, and we'll see how that goes in the upcoming episodes. But there could have been a way for Stefan, who's kind of friendly-ish with Rick.
Yeah.
Like, there could have been something.
Yeah.
What else? Stefan really took charge in this episode, and it was hot. I love to see it. And like he truly played hero. So
Yeah.
he saved Elena and Bonnie at the motel. He saved Jeremy and killed Ben in a super cool way. He saved Elena from Anna and Pearl, and he looked good while doing it all.
That's so true. He did look good.
Meanwhile, Damon literally messed everything up and made everything worse in this episode, and he also took zero responsibility. He told Stefan he literally hoped Elena died. My hot take, leave that bitch in the tomb.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
Also, would she be so quick to run in after him if she knew that he... Like, think it through, Elena. Who came and saved you at the motel?
Who came and saved you in the tomb?
When Damon was in the tomb and made you go in the tomb. Like, even having that information, which we know she has, like, she doesn't need to also know that he said that he hopes she dies.
Yeah.
But in that context, you're like, what
You're
the...
like, what are you doing? She's already starting to make excuses for Damon.
Bye, Ben. I won't miss you. And any sympathy I had for Ben in the last episode is gone after this one.
Yeah.
Right? Like you were talking about, he really is just saying this like quintessential cliche bad guy. And he's just whatever. I'm over it.
Yeah. Actually, I have a little fun thing about Ben is Bonnie burning Ben in the motel, like kind of foreshadows his ultimate demise.
It totally does.
When I was watching my last one, I was like, huh.
Well, and it's not, I was thinking about this when we were talking about, I don't know, a little bit ago, how him talking about like witches can die, like you're not immortal, in some ways foreshadows or is a nod to the audience that one of our witches will die in the episode.
Yeah, no, it definitely.
But no, the fire, that's great. Also, Elena, that's just tap water. It works just fine.
Yeah,
it just works just fine.
It was just tap water.
Okay. To move on to some other characters, we're going to talk about Caroline and Matt. To use Caroline's word, I used her word lame earlier. Now I'm going to use her word ooged. I'm ooged out over Matt and Caroline. He goes from being really sweet with her at the grill to being a paranoid douche at Duke's party. Yeah. And Duke's supposed to be the resident douche here, and we never even meet him. Maybe he's who Tyler's like chugging beer with.
Yeah, I was like thinking that was maybe who Duke is, but you know, they don't let us know. So
the fact that Tyler, second place for douche in this episode, calls Matt out for defending what he and Caroline have, only to do a 180 a few days later, is wild.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why does everyone have more self-awareness than Matt does?
I don't know.
Right? Like, Tyler sucks in the majority of this episode, but even though he's like, this works for me, I want my bro single, I do appreciate that he's like, well, what happened to you being like defending her and what you have to me?
Yeah.
So I'm like, thank you, Tyler, for calling Matt out on his bullshit.
Absolutely.
And I love all of Caroline's speeches. They do feel very me. I don't think I've ever gone up to someone I was interested in and be like, I have a speech prepared. But I've definitely practiced speeches in my head.
Love that.
But you know what? My hot take is Matt doesn't deserve any of her speeches or her.
No, definitely not. I agree.
And then my last hot take is, what day of the week is it? Last night was the hunt for the grimoire. And as I mentioned earlier, I was like going into this wiki page for the Vampire Diaries. And according to whoever puts that page together, they said that today's episode in the timeline of the show would be Saturday, December 12th, 2009. So it makes sense with snow, etc. Which means Bonnie's date with Ben would have been on a Friday. But this leaves me confused about when the 50s dance was, though, because it feels super fresh because Caroline finds Matt to talk to him about their kiss.
Yeah.
So it can't have been more than a couple of days.
Yeah.
But that would mean that their decade dance was in the middle of the week.
Yeah, which...
I will say I appreciate this person and the amount of effort they're putting into this wiki page, or people. I don't know how many people are on this, have created this page. But some of the like, okay, well, since that was that, it's probably this, or I'm making this connection. I was like, I feel like I maybe need to go back to my timeline notes and construct it for myself.
Yeah.
But I was like, you know what? Someone has had to have done this. So
yeah,
I'm confused what day of the week it is.
I think we'll always be confused.
I think it will never actually make sense or add up.
No.
So
no.
What else you got, Brenna?
Thank you. And all right, so sorry, back to Ben, but real quick, but it's just more about like it's more a thing about Anna. For someone who's really into vampire myths, Anna hasn't done the best job at training Ben on vampire shit. Like, I know he might have forgotten some things, but it also seems like she didn't really care to go into much detail, like the strength of Stefan, like having vampires be older, just like anything with the vervain, and just how obviously Elena would know that. Like, he was an idiot. He's dead now. See you, Ben. And then something that I will say positively about Elena. Even sometimes I feel like we bag on her a little bit, but I would want to say, in the same way that Stefan was also taking some charge, I like seeing Elena trying to do things independently of Stefan to solve issues. I think she's like, our girl is stepping into her own, albeit I'm not sure I like her methods because her moment with Damon was weird. But she's like moving kind of more from like a passive person like in this vampire world who's like dating a vampire to like trying to escape hairy situations and thoughtfully assessing what can help the most in the way of asking Bonnie to help open the tomb for Damon because she wants to get him away because Stefan doesn't want him around. Like, you know what I mean? Like she's like scheming and plotting to like actively be a helpful force in all of this. And then she like is also trying to see things from Damon's perspective to help him get what he wants, even if he's terrible about going about it. Again, I think her method there was a little weird, like we said earlier in the episode. We'll be watching that, but one thing about Elena, another nice thing about Elena is like she might be the worst in certain ways, but like she is very empathetic, just like us. And she seems to genuinely try to see like from other people's points of view in the case of Damon, like we were just kind of saying, and even for Anna losing her mom due to Catherine, like she like to the point where Anna has to like remark on it because like it's clear that Elena's like sad for her.
Yes.
And then finally, my one last little thing is Damon is having what we tarot readers would call a tower moment. So that's like the tower card is one of the scary cards in the tarot, but like it really means that there's just like a big just shift that's going on. So things seem like they're crumbling, things are falling apart, but like normally when those things are falling apart, it's like for good reason because it's like meant to like create space for something new. So I just was very much reading his sort of like this very down moment. He's having this reckoning where everything he's believed to be true is just coming down on him, like just like his belief of Catherine being in the tomb, her not being in the tomb, her not being interested in finding him or Stefan. And now he's going to have to rebuild his sense of self outside of loving Catherine. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, and as we talked about, he doesn't seem to have any friends or any hobbies other than trying to torture his brother and get Catherine out of the tomb.
Yeah,
so like
he's got a lot of work to do.
He's got a lot of work to do.
Well, I'll be curious to see how he copes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any other final thoughts or anything before we move on to our next section?
No.
All right. Let's go to our favorite lines.
All right. So even though I don't really like Anna and Jeremy together, I do love this line. So this is from Jeremy to Anna. I like you. You're fun. And you're also kind of strange and lurky, but I guess I like that too.
That's really fun. I do like that. It's fun. Yeah, we'll keep eyes on these two because I'm sure there's more to come there. But no, I do love that. And then of course my line, short and sweet. It's Elena's. That's it. Just water from the tap. It made me laugh multiple times of viewing. So
it's great.
All right.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Let's do it.
All right. Am I going first?
Who wants to go first? I started thinking about it. I think I can.
Okay.
I think I can do it. I am going to fuck Damon because he clearly needs a pick me up. He's having a hard time. I'm going to marry Caroline because she deserves it, because Matt doesn't deserve her speeches, but I would listen to every single truth that this young woman tells me, because she is just great and unapologetically herself. And then I am going to kill, I'm trying to think like who I would want to maybe kill in this episode. Probably Tyler, just for being a fucking idiot, even though he's like not really doing anything, but he's annoying me, so I'm just gonna kill him.
Great.
What about you?
I'm gonna fuck Stefan.
Okay.
Because his white knight shit's really working for me, you know?
Makes sense.
Love him. I'm also gonna marry Caroline because I like her speeches.
Yeah.
And she's just like, she is so cute. And
it's the beret.
It is the
beret's here to stay.
But even at the party, like, the thing is, like, Matt's there, like, brooding in the corner. You can't take brooding. That's Stefan's thing, Matt.
Yeah.
And you can't take loner because that's Jeremy's thing.
Yeah, Matt, get your own thing.
But he's like in the corner, not socializing, not talking to her, like hiding from her or watching her, which is weird. Meanwhile, we see her multiple times, like interacting with other people. She's having a great time and he's pulling her out of that. And you would think, for as clingy as she is, that like she would be the one who's like micromanaging where they are, and she's not at all. She's just living her life, and he's really bringing her down.
Yes.
But when she like sees him when he's, I think it's like both when he's talking to Tyler and then when he's by himself, both times when she clocks him, she just smiles and her whole face lights up, and like, I want her to look that way at me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to marry her.
I agree.
For who to kill today, it's hard because like I want to kill Damon.
Yeah.
But really what I want to do is just leave him in the tomb.
Yeah.
Like I just want him in the tomb.
That's fair.
Because I do really feel for him at the end, even though like fuck him for most of the episode. I also would kill Ben, but he's already dead. You
can if you want to though.
No.
It's allowed.
No, I'm going to kill Matt.
Okay, that's fair. You know what? I support this. I support this
I don't
decision.
think I need to explain that one.
I think you've made it very clear.
How I feel about Matt Donovan today.
Oh my goodness.
So I think that's a wrap.
We did it. Here we are. Okay. As a reminder, you can follow us online. It's very fun over there. We promise. We got fun little cute things posting very regularly. It's just hang out with us over there. We're at Hello Sister Podcast on Instagram and Threads. Or if you would like to write us an email, you can do so at hellosister podcast1864@gmail.com. You can also just tell us your takes. Do you think there was a better way that they could have all handled this episode? Because obviously we feel like they could have. So we would love to know from you too if you feel that way.
Would love. Thank you, Brenna, for liking me even when I'm strange and lurky. And as always, a huge thanks to our husbands, Alex and Dwight, for all of the work they do behind the scenes to make this podcast as great as it is.
Well, thank you. And thank you, Christina, for not leaving me in a tomb of starving vampires.
Never.
You would never. And of course, thank you for listening or watching any of the above to Hello Sister. Bye. Hello Sister is written, directed, and hosted by Christina Rosso-Schneider and Brenna Dinon. Graphic designs are by Alex Schneider. Music is written and produced by Dwight Evan Young. Sound design and video are recorded and produced by Dwight Evan Young and Brenna Dinon. Hello Sister Podcast is a Bad Day Media production. Hello. And well... That was not with enthusiasm at all. Hello.
Okay.
All right, I'll do it again.
Take it from the top.
Okay. Okay.